Hello, how are you doing? Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing, David?
Yippee-ki!
All right. How you doing, David? What's going
Hey,
on?
if
Yes.
someone were to say in a rap song about the Muslim cowboy, if he
Yeah.
said, "I'm a map," now map stands for minor attracted person, but do people know that? Like if he says I'm a map, are people gonna interpret that in the Dora the Explorer way, like I'm the map, 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 or do they understand minor attracted person? Like, is that general knowledge?
I think it doesn't even matter. In fact, the fact that not everyone gets it makes it even better.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
You're
that's
saying this
art.
might confuse someone, but it's funny.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the good thing.
Okay.
It's always more satisfying when it's not directly obvious to everyone who's listening. That's it. That's how it works. Do you hear me tapping right now, David?
No, I'm deaf.
Oh, okay, good, 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 good. That's fine. That's good. That's good. All right. Let me know, everybody, how everything sounds and how everything works and how everything functions and how everything, does and performs and all that. Today we are coming together to talk about a Muslim cowboy again. David, we just talked about the Muslim cowboy. And we just made a long stream explaining to the Muslim cowboy that child marriage is not okay, and that Muhammad didn't wait for a proper age, and that Muhammad engaged in a very, very bad form of marriage to a little child. But Muslim cowboy decided to double down.
Good. We knew he
And
would. That's why we went after him.
first, he made a video. He made a live stream actually that was too long, and to be honest, I don't care enough to even watch it. However, then he made a video that is 60 minutes long in which he addressed this: Did Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam really marry a child? And the answer, of course, is no. He did not marry a child because she was an adult at the age of 9.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen from him, apart from what we've already covered, so I haven't seen any of this except the next Zakir Naik played a clip where he asked him, "Hey," and by the way, that's actually interesting, right? So he originally said anything Muhammad would do. There's nothing Muhammad did that I wouldn't do. There you go, right there.
Yeah, I pulled it up
But
earlier.
we know, and we actually brought up when we were discussing it, there has to be limits because there were certain things. One, there are certain things that only Muhammad was allowed to do, like marry more, like break the 4-wife limit. Regular Muslims aren't allowed to do that. So there were things that only applied to Muhammad because he got special moral privileges. But in addition to that, the other concern is, what about stuff that's illegal in different countries and what wasn't illegal for Muhammad? And so, are you really willing to do everything Muhammad did? And so that actually gets brought up to him. That got brought up to him. And so he modified it. He obviously watched our stuff because he modified his position. Yes, there are only things that apply. There are things that only apply to Muhammad, and there are laws that I would not break. But notice he said, apart from that, he would do anything. And so the next Zakir Naik said, well, what about, walking around with your clothes covered in semen? That's not illegal. It's not illegal to walk around with your clothes covered in semen. And it's not something that only applied to Muhammad. That was a special moral privilege from Muhammad. So he should, that fit every different. And no, I mean, think about it. The next Zakir Naik is just asking for clarification. Clarify exactly what you mean. And he will, of course, have to, come up with a clearer explanation and description of what he's willing to do as he's questioned and challenged. But he gave his original explanation of what he'd be willing to do, which was anything. We pointed out that you're not even allowed to do it. You're not allowed to do everything that Muhammad did. So we pointed that stuff out. He agreed, apparently, because he changed his definition, but that left other things open, like walking around covered in semen. And instead of answering and saying, "Oh, you're right, I'm not going to do that, that's disgusting," he just blocked the next Zakir Naik instead of actually answering.
Well, that's what happened. And I think it was actually very funny. I saw that when I was live the other day, 2 days ago, when I was having a live stream that took lasted about 6.5 hours, and At the end of that, the real Zakir Naik came on and said, "Hey, Muslim Cowboy just invoked the curse of Allah upon me," and he gave me the timestamp. So I went there and and looked at it, and it was hilarious. So let's have a look at that again. How about
Powerful. It's powerful.
Was not a Nicene Trinitarian. Bro, you have no idea what you're talking about. Sam.
Oh, that's chaos there. It's chaos and the next Zakir Naik. That's funny. They've got chaos and the next Zakir Naik. They're both Christians.
For example, there are no limits. No, there's no limits. So except in what we're not allowed to follow. So if you understand fiqh, usul al-fiqh, like there are things that were permitted for the Prophet ﷺ that I can't do. So he could fast for 2 days straight. So like not just like fast one day, break his fast at night like we do in Ramadan, but he would fast for 48 hours or 72 hours consecutively. He told us not to do that. So he did it, but I don't do that. The Prophet ﷺ could have 9 wives at one time. I'm not allowed to do that. So there's some things I cannot do.
Oh, that's only reserved for the Prophet Muhammad because he is so special. Only he can have 9 wives. You are limited to 4. Poor you.
He was king of the rodeo. Yeah.
How special. How special. What a special Prophet Muhammad.
That he did. Also, anything that has to do with that goes against the maqasid of the Sharia, like adatul muhakkama, right? Anything that is an ada.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, in the U.S., I wouldn't marry somebody underage because it goes against the laws and the culture of that time, right? You understand? So I can't do something that also goes against any contract or treaty that I have with anybody, which is, in essence, actually following the Prophet ﷺ. So everything has to be put in together.
However, when the opportunity arises, we will demand that Islamic law is established in the land, and then we will enforce our own morality, and I will do whatever I want. Just say it, Muslim Cowboy.
To be looked at under a scope, and it has to be understood in that context. So I'm not even going to put that.
Like, it was up for like half a second. Yeah.
I love how he quickly put it on the screen and took it off again. Like,
what did I just put up? No, take it out, take it out, take it out. Wow.
The next Zakir Naik, that was the perfect move.
It was, and it's entirely legitimate. This isn't just mocking here. He said anything Muhammad would do, I would do. And then it gets pointed out, well, you're not allowed to do everything. And then so he changes it. Okay, there are certain things, but apart from those specific things, I would do anything. What do you do with these passages about Muhammad walking around covered in semen? What do you do there? Block.
The next Zakir Naik, you're a legend. Thank you for doing that. Very, very nicely done. You deserve an award for that.
That is classic.
You deserve an award for that. That was very, very, very nice. Very, very nicely done. But look at his reaction. It's like
I'm not even going to put that stuff. You're banned for that. And he was not walking around covered in semen. May Allah curse you.
May Allah curse you.
I don't know what this dude means by not covered, because Aisha would say, I would wash it off his clothes and I would wash it off. And even then I would see more. It's like, okay, that sounds like if she can't even get it all, that sounds like there was a lot of semen on this dude.
Why is he so offended by this? I mean, it's a legitimate report, and the guy is asking a serious question here. Like, would you do everything Muhammad does? Would you also walk around covered in semen? And the guy's like, what? Well, you're banned for that.
That is weird, by the way, right? So Muhammad had sex with a prepubescent 9-year-old girl. That's one. 2, Muhammad walked around covered in semen. Both of those things are things that Muhammad did. You double down on the having sex with a little girl, but you're repulsed by the walking around covered in semen? Like
that's unacceptable.
Dude, I mean, seriously. If I had, assuming it would be my own semen, if I had to choose, David, you have to either bang a prepubescent girl or walk around covered in your own semen, I would prefer walking around in my own semen. I would not want to bang the little girl. But no, you're like, bang the little girl. Semen,
Definitely go for the little girl. I will not walk around covered in semen. Unacceptable. How dare you even mention this? May Allah curse you.
Isn't it weird, by the way? Like, I've never heard of anyone who had that problem before. Like, he just can't stay. He can't walk around unless he's got semen all over him.
So here's one of the reports where Aisha says, I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then I used to notice one or more spots on them.
One or more. So even after washing it out, scrub,
Yeah.
and then, I would still notice one or more spots. How many more?
And the guy isn't even cleaning himself
50?
up. Like,
50 more?
I mean, you would expect the Prophet to clean himself up after he's done with his business, but no, it's like Aisha has to come and is like, okay, wait, don't go. You have semen all over your clothes. Let me scrub it all. Let me clean it. And he's like, I don't care. I don't care. I like this. I asked Sulaiman bin Yasar whether the semen that gets on the garment of a person should be washed or not. He replied, Aisha told me, the messenger of Allah washed the semen and then went out for prayer in that very garment, and I saw the mark of washing on it. Okay, that's here. At least he's doing it. At least he is doing it himself. Okay, right. I used to scrape off the semen from the garment of messenger of Allah.
Scrape it, wash it, scratch it, scrape it.
I used to wash the traces from the clothes of the Prophet, and he used to go for prayers while traces of water were still on it. Okay. There are more. You went into different ones. I put some of them on the screen, where while I used to rub off the semen from the clothes of the messenger of Allah, he would pray in it. Wait, that sounds weird. I used to rub off the semen from the clothes of the messenger of Allah, he would pray in it. Okay. So anyway, this is apparently very, very problematic for the Muslim cowboy.
Rubbing the semen off the clothes of the messenger of Allah, and then he would pray in it. So he'd pray in it. He'd go to the mosque in it. If I even thought that some dude had just had semen scraped off his clothes, wherever it's coming from, his own, Diha al-Kalbi, some goat, wherever the semen is coming from, I would want that dude like 10 feet away from me at all times. Muhammad shows up in the mosque. He's hugging it out with all his buddies, and he's still got wet spots all over him from Aisha washing it and scrubbing it. And even then, she'd miss some.
Yeah. She used to scrape it off with her nails. Say other reports. This is apparently so. This is a very important topic here. Of course, the Muslim narrators, the compilers of these hadiths, they made sure that we have enough reports so that everybody knows everything that needs to be known about the semen on Muhammad's garments. This is a very important matter, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine, like the scribes or the people who are going around collecting these narrations, and I don't know, the Imam Bukhari, for example, he's going around, he's like, all right, I have so many reports now about the semen on the Prophet's garment. Guys, I need more reports on this. I need a few more reports on this. Can anyone tell me more about the semen on the Prophet Muhammad's garment? Please let me know. We need to make a note of this. I need to collect all of these. I need to make sure that this is all authentic. I have to make sure that it sounds right so that future generations may know what to do with the semen on their garments. This is the very important religious teaching, the very important religious text, the very important stuff that finds itself within the texts of Islam. Alhamdulillah. This is why Islam is such a beautiful religion. This is indeed why it's so miraculous, and
we're proud of that.
Yeah. All right.
Alhamdulillah. Please subscribe to Brother Wissam.
Yeah. May Allah curse you, he said.
No, subscribe to the next Zakir Naik so you can get more of these awesome takedowns.
Like, he asked such a useful question, and he got banned for that. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, also, Allah's curse was invoked on him. This is just unacceptable, man. Poor guy. Anyway, so Muslim Cowboy, after we dealt with his prior, advocacy for child marriage, which is one of the most important values that Islam currently presents to the world. Very, very crucial, very critical. As Daniel Kikuchi pointed it out, it's very sad and very, very bad that such beautiful values like child marriage have been completely crushed by the evil West. So once again, we are going to go into the very, very important value of child marriage. Let's see.
Howdy, folks. This is the Muslim Cowboy. Now,
Is this too loud?
No, I don't know. Ask them.
there's
Is this too loud, guys? Our sounds
at
pretty much balanced. What's going on?
Look at it. Look, he's got those defending child molester eyes right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeehaw!
A little bit too loud, said people. Okay, a little bit too loud.
a lot of chatter in the social media verse about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his marriage to our mother.
I can't believe he's defending it.
A lot of ignorant heads, they like to run their mouth, calling our prophet a pedophile. And I want to defend honor of
They call him a pedophile.
Yeah.
Nope.
And why do we call him a pedophile? Because he meets the requirements for pedophilic disorder in the DSM-5. That is the standard work for diagnosing problems, psychological problems in people. And if you look at all of the criteria for being diagnosed as a pedophile, Muhammad meets all of the requirements, every last one of them. So in other words, that's the meaning of the word. The meaning of the word pedophile is someone who has these characteristics, and Muhammad had exactly those characteristics.
Well, because he had those characteristics, that doesn't mean you have to call him a pedophile, David.
Yeah, the only thing you could say, the only thing you could actually reasonably point out, according to what that says, is there are qualifiers as to different types of pedophiles. So, for instance, there's a qualifier. Some people are attracted to children in their family, and so there's an incestuous type pedophile. The relevant qualifier here is some people are exclusively attracted to children, and others are non-exclusive pedophiles. They're attracted to children, but they can also be attracted to an ordinary beautiful woman, right? So what you could say is Muhammad was not an exclusive type pedophile. He was a non-exclusive type pedophile. He was sexually attracted to a child and sexually attracted to women who were older. And therefore, that's all you could say. But to complain that we're calling him pedophile, that's what the word means.
Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what it means. What do you think about today's thumbnail, by the way?
Yeah, what was the idea behind that? Was it just for shock?
Earlier, I was sitting there and I was thinking, I should schedule a live stream now. Just wondering what I should put on the thumbnail. But then I remembered I was messing around with these AI image editing programs a few days ago. So I thought, hey, I should just try doing something with that. First, I tried turning us into cartoons, and then I found a zombie function, and so I did that. And I thought, hey, that looks kind of nice. Yeah. Because otherwise, we look too serious often on these. Actually, this is a little bit of a dig at how you always put the same photos of us on your thumbnail every single time. So I just took those photos and turned them into this.
Oh, that's cool. Powerful.
Our Prophet Muhammad, and to go into detail about the situation that he was in when he married our mother Aisha. First, let's start by saying that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the greatest example for all of mankind that there is for a person to follow.
Yeah, pause that. Think about what he's saying here, because this is why we bring these kinds of things up. He says Muhammad is the best moral example a person could have. What do you mean by the best example a person could have? Normally, we would think of if we said, hey, this guy is the greatest person you could be, you could strive to be like. We would normally think that would be a person who isn't banging a little girl, someone who doesn't chop the heads off of hundreds of Jews, someone who doesn't get aroused by his adopted son's wife. that you'd be thinking, in other words, you'd be thinking of someone who's very, very different from Muhammad. And so he's doing the exact same thing with the word child and with the word woman that he's doing with someone being a perfect moral example or the supreme moral example. He's just saying, well, this is how I'm going to define it. And the way I'm defining it is completely different from the way any sane person has ever defined it, but that's how I'm going to define it. And therefore everyone else has to change their language to work with me, right? So what does he actually mean by woman? He means anyone who has started puberty. Anyone who has started puberty is a woman. Guess what? That's not what anyone, that's not what any doctor, no one grants that definition. That is a ridiculous definition. Following that definition, an 11-month-old baby who enters precocious puberty would be a fully grown adult woman, according to him. That's insane. But that's what happens when you say, I could just define things however I want. But he's doing the exact same thing with a phrase like moral example or pattern of conduct or something like that. It's not, we have identified the characteristics of a good moral example, and we find that Muhammad is the supreme example of someone with those characteristics. No, it's just we're defining Muhammad as the supreme pattern of conduct. So whatever he did, even if he's molesting a children, even if he's chopping people's heads off, even if he's checking out his adopted son's wife and getting the hots for her, lusting after her, which, by the way, would be condemned by Jesus. Jesus says if you lust after her in your heart, you're committing adultery in your heart with her. So Muhammad's doing that. So you can look, and again, just basic things like walking around covered in semen. This guy's just redefining what we mean by moral example or pattern of conduct, and saying whatever Muhammad did, even if Muhammad spent all day long molesting babies, this guy would still say, nope, he's the supreme pattern of conduct for us because it's what the Quran says. Notice, that's what our problem with the Quran is. It identifies one of the sickest perverts we've ever encountered in history and says he's the pattern of conduct. That's one of our problems with the Quran. You can't just say, oh, but it says it in the Quran. Yeah, it's one of the reasons we reject your stupid book.
Yeah. The thing he's doing here is, and he does this throughout the whole video, and it's actually one of the main problems that he has, the Muslim cowboy. What he does is he keeps basing everything on the on the idea, on the presupposition here, which is that Muhammad is the perfect moral character. He's a perfect moral guide. So therefore, of course, he didn't do anything wrong. Of course, he didn't do anything wrong. And when it comes to the issue of this marriage, this controversial marriage, therefore, since he can't do anything wrong, let's explain why this is not wrong. That's just not how you approach a situation. That's just not how you should be approaching it. If you look at the facts, I'm sorry, but Muhammad married a little child, a child that is at an age at which no child is ready for marriage, at which no child should be ready for marriage, physically, psychologically, or in any way. And Muhammad is supposed to be a perfect moral character. That is exactly precisely the problem, as David just pointed out, and as Muslim Cowboy just pointed out. That's the problem. It doesn't matter. If somebody in the 7th century married a little child, we wouldn't be talking about that right now. We would say, okay, ignorant times. Bad times, things changed, we learned. The problem with Muhammad is that he is supposed to be the perfect moral character for all times, for everybody in the world. And that's the problem, Muslim Cowboy. That's the problem. That is the problem. But by the way, earlier when I said that child marriage is one of the child marriage is one of the biggest things that we that are very important and that are very valuable to Islam, I wasn't kidding. I quickly want to bring Daniel Kikiju into this discussion. Welcome, Daniel Kikiju. Please tell us something about child marriage.
Under Sharia, Muhammad was allowed to marry Aisha when she was 6. Would this be allowed under your system, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that many cultures practice to this day. And it's based on this biological reality. They're trying to maximize the fertility window of women because they want to have more children. And this is basically the way that evolutionary psychologists explain it. And I'm not promoting evolution, but these are people that you would respect, or other atheists. They say that it's actually to an evolutionary advantage to maximize the fertility window so you have as many children as possible, because women only have about 25 to 30 years of fertility. If they wait until they're 25 or 30 or 35.
Yeah, AP, how many kids did Aisha have?
0.
Oh, good job maximizing the fertility, Muhammad. Actually, if you start having sex with them too young, especially prepubescent, you can damage their fertility.
Yeah.
So,
but what Muhammad did is to metaphysically have lots of children, since she is considered the mother of the believers, the mother of the faithful. So, yeah. Because Muhammad didn't want anyone else to marry his wives after he died, because he was like, these are my wives, they belong only to me, nobody after me should sleep with my wives, I don't want anybody to do that. Which is why he married Aisha at a very young age. He died 9 years later when she was just 18 or something like that, and she then she lived the rest of her very long life without ever marrying again. And she lived for quite a long time. Quite a long time. She lived for 50 or 60 more years after Muhammad's death. Yeah.
Then that means they'll only have maybe 1, maximum 2 children. But this will allow extinction of the population and for the people to be wiped out. And this is why you find it in so many societies in the pre-modern period and even today, because it's biologically hardwired. And you have a discussion actually about whether marrying children who are pubescent, okay, so around 10 years old, 9 years old, this is something that there's a dispute and a debate within psychology whether this is a psychological disorder. And your secular atheist psychologists say that no, it can't be considered a dysfunction because
this is completely false. I put this on the screen, but there is too much to read right now. But there's only a dispute about the terminology of when and how to apply this. It is in general completely rejected by the scientists, by the experts, that such a marriage is reasonable at any point.
Problematic. Marriage to 9-year-olds is not considered pedophilia. What is pedophilia are the practices.
So anyway, here's Daniel Kikachu arguing that basically human rights. Here, I think here's the part. Let me see.
I gave you the justification. I gave you the reasoning. And I showed you that this is something that is practiced pretty widely in the world, and even many cultures today, they practice it. Women actually naturally want to have children. This is a natural biological function, and people have been doing it for all of human history. It's only human rights extremism that is destroying these cultures and these traditions and these practices.
So it is human rights extremism that is unfortunately destroying these beautiful values like child marriage, which is why people like Daniel Hikikachu and the dear Muslim Cowboy and all the others out here have to make sure that they can fight this evil human rights extremism and bring back the beautiful values of marrying little children by calling them women. That's what is happening here. Anyway, let's get back to the Muslim Cowboy. Let's see what he has to say about this.
It says in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. There has
thank you. Yeah, you heard what it says, right?
certainly been for you in the example of the Messenger of Allah an excellent pattern of modeling your life after. Further, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the
What is with this guy's video, man?
Quran, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ.
You are muted.
Oh, I'm just saying, what's this guy's problem with walking around covered in semen if Muhammad is the great pattern of conduct?
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what the situation was. We usually give the benefit of the doubt and conclude that it's Muhammad's own semen, and that this guy used his good mosque clothes, similar to what a Christian would think of as church clothes, and he used his mosque clothes as a semen rag and constantly wipes semen off of him after he's banging all of his wives. And then Aisha, not Muhammad, Aisha was embarrassed by this. She's like, "Well, Prophet, can I scratch that off you before you head to the mosque? Because I don't want everyone thinking you're this disgusting." So even Aisha's bothered by this. But the Muslim cowboy, he didn't like talking about it. But keep in mind, that's part of it. So benefit of the doubt, Muhammad was the kind of man, the perfect moral example, who used his own garments as a semen rag. That's if you're giving him all the benefit of the doubt. Best case scenario, this is a disgusting, disgusting individual. I'm laying this down as a rule. I would not take anyone, no matter how good the person is in every other way. If he walks around covered in semen, I am not taking him as the pattern of conduct. But that's if you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. The other alternatives are, it was someone else's semen. Could have been that guy smooching him all over his body. Could have been Diha al-Kalbi, who was always hanging around Muhammad, and Muhammad saying, "No, that's the angel Gabriel, guys. He's not skeeting all over me." And then, of course, could be worse, could be a goat. We don't know.
I kind of disagree with that. It's I would say that I wouldn't accept anyone as perfect moral conduct who is not walking around with semen on their clothes. Like, I think it is pretty much a requirement for it to be taken seriously as a moral teacher and a moral pattern of conduct to have semen all over you, which is why I'm thinking of doing the same thing from now on. I don't know. It's just fantastic.
Hey,
yes.
I wrote the beginning of my Muslim cowboy rap song. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so this is because I realized I had part of a country song, and then I had a square dance song about him, but we need a rap. And when I was thinking, as soon as I heard Muslim cowboy, for some reason, I was thinking of this old song from like 1985 or 84. It was one really, really old school rap called The Rappin' Duke. But the guy rapped, it was a black dude, but he rapped like John Wayne. So he sounded like John Wayne from the movies in his rapping, and I was thinking of him, so I modified the lyrics to make them something that the Muslim cowboy could sing. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So this would have a beat, but it would go like this. So you think I'm old with my rap? Well, I'll tell you, girl, I'm the miggity map. While you were in diapers and wetting the sheets, I'll be peeking in your window, whacking to the beat, and da-ha, da-ha, da-ha. Sure, I rustled some cattle and fondled some sheep, but my main concern was whacking to the beat. I don't bother nobody. I'm a real nice guy, but I like them real little because I like to hear them cry. Da-ha, da-ha, da-ha. I'm talking here and now. Later for the cattle and fondling a cow. When I see a little baby and I need to skeet, you can bet your sweet dippy I'll be whacking to the beat. That's what I got so far.
You are so messed up, man. What's
well,
wrong?
He with the whole cowboy theme, he opens up all kinds of doors for making fun of stuff.
That's perfect. Maybe he will watch this and he will like it and he will actually adopt it and turn it into an intro for himself. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Muslim cowboy, you have my full permission to use any of my songs that I come up with that are about you, because they're about you. So it would be totally, it's like when Dave Chappelle did that Prince sketch, and then Prince used a picture of Dave Chappelle as Prince on his album cover. And Dave Chappelle's like, what am I going to do? Sue him? It was me dressed as him. What am I going to do? Sue him for using a picture of me as him? It's the same thing. What am I going to do? Sue you for using my stuff? No. You also have full rights to use any of my songs for your intros.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful stuff.
You're sick. You're sick.
Yep.
What the hell? I mean,
على خلق عظيم. And you, O Muhammad, are.
Why is he making goat sounds? Just
وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. And
just
you,
tell us what the verse says. Why is he making goat sounds?
O Muhammad, are upon the most excellent moral character. We
Did it say you, Muhammad, are a pawn? So
Muhammad are upon the most.
See, he said you, Muhammad, are a pawn.
You're a pawn. You're a pawn in that dude's game. No, Muslim cowboy, you're a pawn in a pedophile's game.
كَلَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. And you, O Muhammad, are upon the
You,
most
Muhammad, are a pawn.
excellent moral character. We have many ayat and many narrations from the Prophet Muhammad.
David, be serious. We're discussing a serious topic here. The guy
Oh,
will
so-
probably be angry with us if we don't stay serious enough.
Peace be upon him, where we see that he had the best of character. Even his companions said that he was of the best of
His
character.
companion said it.
My God. So in the recent live stream that we had about this already, we already discussed one issue here, which is that anybody who after Muhammad's passing or even during Muhammad's time said anything bad about him would not be considered a reliable person, would not be considered a person worthy listening to, and his words would not be collected by the Muslim scribes and narrators, and they would be dismissed and discarded. Devalued because they hold no value in the Islamic biased system of noting what is and is not true. Secondly, the Quran has plenty of references in which they call Muhammad a liar. They call Muhammad crazy. They say he's just repeating things he heard from others. They say he's just rehashing things he heard from people have been saying forever, all the time. So the Quran itself is saying that whole stuff. Should we just disregard that? I don't know. I would like to hear an answer to that question, dear Muslim cowboy.
And told us
Someone asked how long did it take to come up with those lyrics. I just did it since we while vocab was while AP was talking. Sorry, people are saying David's a new vocab. While AP was talking, I just jotted that down. So
that's pretty good. It's pretty impressive, man.
Pretty dope.
How about no?
Yep. Saint Zero Walker said, AP, why you know Christ believe yet? Yes, I agree with that. Watching said, how about no? I don't buy you, Allah. Became Numa said, what if the trajectory continues? If the trajectory continues as it is, Moto Gear Solid. Huh, interesting. Said Islam is so uptight, it needs to watch Footloose. It does.
That's funny.
Or it needs to.
Did you ever see Footloose?
I haven't.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
I
that is classy. If you want to understand all of the 80s, watch Footloose. That's
good. That's good. Osman's relationship advice says opening song idea for the Muslim cow botherer. Diddle, 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 young diddle. Yeehaw. By the way, that thumbnail, you were sick. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're sick. You're sick.
Kevin said, do you think his PR work is him actually thinking the marriage was moral? Or do you think he knows it's evil, but he just doesn't care? Well, it's much more complex than that. It's, I don't know. It's like a whole paradigm issue. It's like so this is the problem, right? He began the whole video by first mentioning that Muhammad was a perfect moral character. He's still doing that right now, before even getting to the topic properly. How Muhammad is a perfect moral character. He's the most amazing guy. He did nothing wrong, and so on. He adopted that worldview already, from where he can't even properly, understand the idea that that what Muhammad did is actually wrong. To him, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work that way. To him, Muhammad didn't do anything wrong. So even when you analyze the issue of marrying this little child, for example, it will be very hard for this guy to accept that Muhammad did something wrong. Although to you and me, it might be quite obvious. That's the whole difficulty of arguing with people who hold different beliefs and ideas, right?
Yeah, and
anything you want to add?
Yeah, this is actually, it's an important issue, but no, guys, this is exactly what we've been working on for years, right? So if you go back 20 years, no one knows about this. When I first heard about Muhammad having sex with a 9-year-old guy, I thought there's no way a guy who's taken as this pattern of conduct was having sex with a 9-year-old girl. Someone must be making that up. So I didn't believe it for a couple years until arguing with Nabil and was looking stuff up. And then I see it in Sahih al-Bukhari, because I ended up getting Sahih al-Bukhari. And then it's like all over the place in Sahih al-Bukhari. So wait, this is real? This is actually real? And then when we would bring it up to Muslims, back then it was most common to say, no, it's not true. There are all these other sources. There are all these other sources that give different ages for Aisha. And at first you think, oh, okay, there are all these different sources, so I guess I can't say that she was 9 when there are all these other sources. And then over time, engaging with Muslims, debating Muslims, and hey, show us those sources, show us, and you find out they don't have any sources. They do all this like mathematics combined with making up a bunch of things, and then try to piece together some older age for Aisha and so on, when all the sources that they're using to construct a new age, all of those sources that they're quoting all say that Aisha was 9 years old. And so the entire methodology doesn't work. But then it becomes, we have to convince people that she was actually 9 because you've got all the Dawa guys, they're all lying about it and saying, no, 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 no. So we keep posting the sources, making the challenges, putting the sources, challenging them to show us otherwise. And eventually they get to the point where they can't lie it anymore. So what do when they can't lie about it anymore? Then they have to defend it. And we've already seen that now that it has become common knowledge. How did it become common knowledge? Bunch of people on YouTube and social media and so on continued pointing it out relentlessly for years until they get to the point where, well, we've already seen Muhammad Hijab did his poll a while back for Muslims saying, when something causes you to doubt Islam, what is it? The biggest answer by far was moral problems with Muhammad. So we see that, and thank you, Muhammad Hijab, for giving us that information about what bothers Muslims most about Muhammad. It's moral issues that we really, really, really want to keep pushing this Aisha issue, but now they can't deny it anymore because the sources are all over the place. What do? We have to defend it like the Muslim cowboy. He thinks he's rescuing Islam right now. What's he actually doing? Helping us destroy it.
I wanted to add some music to your speech because it was very nice. Yeah.
Not country enough, partner.
Yeah, let's see.
What was that you're playing? Is that 2 Live Crew?
No, it's not good enough. No. Anyway.
Hey, did I ever tell you about that dude in the bar when I was a little kid?
No, you haven't. You didn't.
Hey, so my mom always worked in bars, and so I was in there, and there was this guy. His name's John Larita. The Larita family, they ran the coal mines. They owned the coal mines in that area I was in, so they were all rich. But he just sit in bars and he'd buy stuff for everybody. And anyway, he was pretty cool. But I was in there, and John Larita, he would always play on the jukebox the song. I don't know who did it, but there's like a messed up song. The song was "If the South Would Have Won, We'd Have Had It Made," right? And the whole song is about how great it would have been if the southern states had won the Civil War. So it's like pretty messed up. But anyway,
pretty messed up.
Yeah, there was this
South
guy.
will rise again.
Yeah, so I was a kid. I was probably like 10. I'm in there, and there was this older kid who's like maybe 13 or 14 or something. John Larita gives him a quarter and says, hey, go play something on the jukebox. Now, I would know you're supposed to play some country redneck song for John Larita. This kid walks over there and he plays Bye Bye Miss American Pie. He plays a Don McLean song, Bye Bye Miss American Pie. So he plays that. And John Larita looks up from his beer and it starts playing Don McLean. He looks up and he goes, what the hell is this? 2 Live Crew? And I knew who 2 Live Crew was, but I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. He's actually put 2 Live Crew, like extremely vulgar rap group. He's comparing Don McLean, Bye Bye Miss American Pie, because that's how it sounds to him. When all you listen to is redneck stuff that the Muslim cowboy would listen to. Yeah, it's, I guess Bye Bye Miss American Pie sounds like 2 Live Crew. Anyway,
yeah, the Muslim cowboy wouldn't be listening to music no more. It's haram. Maybe he should make a revolution by creating country Islamic music, country nasheeds. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, since this is the only time I'll ever remember it. Afterwards, he's messing with that kid who's again like 13 or 14, and he goes, hey, talking to my mom, hey, let's get this kid a beer, right? My mom's looking a little confused, and he goes, my mom goes to grab a glass. She's just going to do it because this guy's a millionaire. What are you going to do? And so, and he goes, no, not a big glass like that. Get him a shot glass, right? she gives him a little shot. he gives him a little shot glass with beer, and of course the kid just downs it right there. And John Larita goes, "Whoa, slow down there, son!" Right? And he goes, "Slow down there, son. You gotta take it slow. Gotta sip on it." And then the whole place just goes quiet as they're looking for the kid's reaction. All of a sudden, you hear John Larita go, "Do you want another?" And I don't know why, but again, I'm only like 10, but this was cracking me up seeing him give this guy a little shot glass full of beer. Anyway, those were the days. But Muslim Cowboy's gotten me remember my hillbilly roots and all the stuff. So anyway, that's kind of cool. Kind of cool memories.
Well, you know what they said, David. The South will rise again. We'll do it.
I want to find out who that is. It's got to be like Hank Williams or something like that.
The one position MC won't ever do, reverse Muslim cowgirl.
What's that?
The one position.
Oh, it was. It's Hank Williams Jr. Hank Williams Jr.
Lars Seth said AP need to write a book in German called Mein Cow. Huh, that's good. Mein Kuh. Mein Kuh. Huh. Mein Cow. Capo Ballard said, AP, does the Trinity make sense, or is it a bunch of jargon that redefines what the deity is to make Christianity monotheistic? Oh, hi, David. I would say I have to say it's an interesting question to ask that in and of itself doesn't make any sense to me. So the question itself doesn't make sense. And to explain why, I would have to first figure out how to explain why. But to briefly just address the issue here, to me, from my perspective, is that as a belief itself, to describe a doctrine that is taught within that religion, it makes sense from its own perspective, right, within its own context. By what standard are we really determining whether it makes sense or not? The question itself doesn't make much sense to me. That's the entire problem here. Just as asking, does one God make any sense, or do multiple gods make any sense, or does a hierarchy of gods make any sense? None of those questions make any sense to me. They all make sense within their own context, I would say.
Sounds pretty racist.
It is. Alhamdulillah. And you know what? Ayatollah Khamenei said, good to see you two cowpokes moseying around here. Anyone seen my goat? I have a business proposition for her.
Hey, you know, to be a good song?
What?
Something like, "At least I'm not a pedophile." And the whole song would be a guy who's like the worst person possible in every other way, but he keeps getting back to the chorus, "But at least I'm not a pedophile." You know what I mean?
That sounds good.
I killed 70 people, and I did this, and I did that, and I burned down the homes, and I killed a bunch of orphans, and blah, 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 blah. But at least I'm not a pedophile.
Okay, I'm going to take this head off. It's annoying me now. I'm sick of it.
Oh, it's been annoying everyone. Hey, you got a Zabiba now.
Yeah, now I have a Zabiba because of the hat. I got a Zabiba. Got a Zabiba with my Zabiba. Oh, God, finally, my ears are covered. Everything feels better again. Oh, finally. Ari Wasserman said, Jerry Seinfeld, I don't want to be a Muslim cowboy. Is that a line from is it a famous line? I've never, ever watched Seinfeld. So, unfortunately, it doesn't entirely make sense to me. I don't get the contexts.
It was
sad to say this. Very sad to say. Yeah.
Saying I don't want to be a pirate.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if there was a cowboy one too.
Suhail A said, "Can I get a yeehaw?" I love the content. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. David, can I get a yeehaw from you too?
Oh, the line is, "I don't want to be a pirate, a cowboy, or Switzerland." He's got some ruffled. He's got some ruffled shirt that Kramer's trying to get him to wear.
Thank you.
Now we know.
Killing all of us with that yeehaw.
Oh, you told me to. You literally asked me to.
Someone said, "I'm a medical cowboy."
I'm a medical cowboy.
Sheep says, "If you love Muhammad, you need to love semen has semen." Yep. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful stuff. The Sahih Muslim said he didn't walk around covered in semen. He only prayed with it at the mosque. Banned. May Allah curse you. That's pretty much how it sounded. Pretty much how it sounded. Ari Wasserman said, I have the strength of 30 Muslim cowboys. I'm very happy to hear that. How much of Jake Shield's semen is in Muslim cowgirl's beard?
Pretty gross.
Listening to Muhammad speak to the companions must have been like going to Gwar show. Yeah. Gore Noise Bull is Muhammad sounds like a ye old dreamy bull. Probably does. I still haven't listened to any of your recommendations, dear Gore Noise. Eric Barlow said, is a meta marriage a hoedown for the Muslim cowboy? A meta marriage. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Watching said Islamic laundromat, jizya stains $1, goat stains $2. And finally, I'm going to read one more super chat here, and then we have to move on. 5 silver pesos made $100 once again. $100 in super shekels. Thank you so much for this contribution. It helps a lot. And said, there is no way this fake cowboy lives outside of Austin. I don't know. The guy, he has an accent. He's got an accent, and he calls himself Cowboy. He says he comes from the country. So, I don't know.
Maybe he's got a ranch.
A ram ranch.
Pedo ram ranch. Broke butt ranch.
Stefan the Pellet said, is this why Momo banned Hadith? Sahih Muslim 3004. Is that the one that goes which one is that? Of a controversial hadith. Do not take down anything from me, and he who took down anything from me except the Quran, he should efface that and narrate from me, for there is no harm in it, and he who attributed any falsehood to me. Yeah, very, 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 very convoluted discussion to go into. Inshallah, maybe it is. All right, let's continue.
Hang on. You know the issue with this Muslim cowboy, because it kind of alluded to it with I'm a
Muslim
medical cowboy.
Uh-huh.
Like, this guy is trying to explain what is acceptable behavior with a 9-year-old girl, and he's defending the claim that it's perfectly acceptable. That goes against everything we know, medically, scientifically, biologically. He's spouting absolute nonsense. Where is he getting this idea from? From research, from medical research, from journal article? Where's he getting this information? He's not. He's just saying Muhammad did this, therefore it's good, and who cares? Who cares? Every medical specialist on the planet could say it's really, really bad for a little girl to have some old dude banging her. And he would say, no, because Muhammad said this, and Allah says right here, and he doesn't realize, dude, that's our argument. Your God is saying things that fly in the face of everything we know to be true. And you're telling us to believe in him and this is the problem for what he's doing. There are Muslims who are significantly wiser and smarter than him, who don't know the entire situation with Muhammad and Aisha, and he's helping them find out about it. But there are other Muslims who are going to be, no, it's a fact. It's bad for a little girl for guys to be having sex with them. That is bad. So if this guy's saying that Muhammad did it, and our religion says Muhammad's the pattern of conduct, I'm out of this religion.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. By the way, Hazrat Muhammad said, hey, AP, do you think the Muslim cowboy is an expert in animal husbandry? Well, I would have to say it depends on what you include in animals and what you include in husbandry. Probably is. That makes a lot of sense. That's why he calls himself the Muslim cowboy. It makes a lot of sense. Sam Smith says, is it his semen or other dudes? Sounds like Muhammad was into. Yes, he was. All right.
There's no volume. No volume.
What?
There's zero volume.
Where's your problem, man?
What is your problem? You're trying to silence the Muslim cowboy because you don't want people to hear his powerful points he's making.
What is your problem? I'm trying to do something here. Well,
right? And those of you...
No.
Yeah, good now.
that the best of you is the best to his family, right? And those of you who are good in public should be even better in private. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was the best to his family. Was Aisha his only wife? No, she was his third wife, actually. His first wife was Khadija. Some reports say that she was 40 years old. The most authentic reports actually have her at 28. Either way, she was still older than him. She was a widower, and she had children before he married her, and he took those children on as his own. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, for the entire 10 or so years that he was married to Khadija, he did not marry anyone else.
This is all completely irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant.
For one simple reason that David Wood brought up earlier, which he, of course, learned from me. No, which he learned from the DSM-5, from his studies in psychology, and so did I, which is that that is only one of the reasons why this is completely irrelevant. So one of the reasons is that if Muhammad is attracted to little children, it doesn't mean that he must therefore be exclusively attracted to little children.
Mhm.
It may be that he is attracted to little children. In fact, that he has a very sick attraction to little children, or had. The guy is dead, I know. But that at the same time, he is also fine with having sex with older women, like, I don't know, 14, 15, 12, 10. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Completely all right. You can have both of those things at the same time. So saying, oh, he also had wives that were older than that. He also had wives that were older than him. None of that is relevant to the issue at all. He might still be attracted to little children at the same time. Also, him marrying Khadija at a time where he was nothing, where he was a nobody, and Khadija was, according to all of the reports, a rich and successful businesswoman, and he got married to her and basically took over her wealth and started his prophethood business through that marriage. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and he had some serious mommy issues with her.
Mommy.
That we've seen when he thought he was demon possessed. What does he do? He runs home to Khadija, cover me, cover me. And we've discussed this before. If I actually thought there was like a demon controlling and possessing me, I would stay as far away from my wife and family as possible. He would run to her like a little kid running to his mommy. And he's doing that when he's 40 years old. He's 40 years old, and when something goes wrong, he would still run to Khadija, help me, protect me, protect me. He's running to a woman, and he's 40 years old. But yeah, I mean, the Muslims are the only people in the universe who take a rich widow marrying a boy toy, and the boy toy marrying the rich widow. They're the only people who take this as evidence of this guy's pure intentions. I've never heard of anyone saying, "Hey, look at that guy. He married this rich lady." I've never heard of anyone say, "See, this proves his pure motives." And what does he do when she eventually dies? Right after that, he married two people. He
goes wild.
He married Sauda, and it's since he wasn't attracted to Sauda, it's thought that he wanted her to take care of his daughters, so he needed a mother figure for them. And Aisha, his child bride, who was his favorite. He ended up marrying a bunch more wives, but Aisha was his favorite. He compared her to a good meal. So nothing this dude is saying. I know in the minds of his followers and in the minds of Muslims, oh, it's right. Muhammad couldn't be a pedophile because he had pure intentions, because he was banging this rich widow. This is only relevant, as AP pointed out, and as I pointed out before, this is only relevant if we were saying he was an exclusive type pedophile. He was only attracted to children. Then him being attracted to someone else would be evidence against that. We're not. It seems like anything with a hole, Muhammad was willing to bang it, including little girls. But that's the definition of a non-exclusive type pedophile.
Plus, the issue with Sauda is also that Muhammad, the holy prophet, He got tired and sick of her. He didn't really like her. He wasn't very much attracted to her. He wasn't into her. So he had his intention. Apparently, he made it apparent that he didn't really want her anymore, and he wanted to divorce her. And
Mhm.
she was afraid of it because she was supposed to be divorced from the or by the prophet, which would be a huge humiliation, and she would be left to herself. She begged Muhammad to basically say, please don't divorce me, please don't divorce me, keep me, and I'm happy to give all my time that you are supposed to dedicate to me to your other wives, or to Aisha, I believe.
Yes, to
And
Aisha.
he accepted that.
Yep.
He accepted that. So, why in the world would you bring up his marriage to Sauda, for example, as evidence that he was such a wonderful, such a good, such a caring
Yeah.
man? He marries a woman and doesn't even like her, makes her feel that he wants to divorce her, and she comes and says, "Oh, please, please don't divorce me. Please, just go to your favorite little wife, the little kid. Please, just keep me. Don't divorce me." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, because I mean, think about this. Muhammad's about to divorce Sauda, but he had made it a rule that you can't divorce that no one can marry his wives after him. So he's saying, "Hey, you're getting old and you're unattractive to me, and I'm marrying all these hotties. I got Sophia, she's one of the hottest babes in Arabia. I got Zainab, she's one of the hottest babes in Arabia. I got little Aisha, my child, but he's got all these different girls, and he's got this one he's not attracted to." And according to the Muslim Cowboy, the perfect ultimate pattern of conduct, his pattern of conduct is once your wife gets old and you can trade her in for a younger model, you should do so. That's what the perfect pattern of conduct would do. Once your
Alhamdulillah.
wife gets old, and Aisha described her as extremely heavy. Once that happens, then you should follow Muhammad's example and divorce her. But she knew this. She knows she can't even get remarried. She's going to be kicked to the curb. And so she seeks a reconciliation. Don't divorce me. Anytime you would spend with me, you can now use to spend twice as much time with Aisha. Muhammad liked that. And what's interesting is Allah actually praised her for doing this. So Muhammad is going to divorce
Wow.
her. Muhammad is going to divorce her. She's smart. She comes and says, "Hey, don't divorce me because I'll starve. Can you, just keep feeding me? Just make sure I have food. And instead of spending any time with me, you can spend that extra time with Aisha." Muhammad accepts the deal. And Allah says, Surah 4, verse 128 of the Quran, "And if a woman fears ill usage or desertion on the part of her husband," this is talking about Sauda and Muhammad, "if a woman, Sauda, fears ill usage or desertion on the part of her husband, Muhammad, there is no blame on them if they effect a reconciliation between them." And reconciliation is better. So it praises her for coming up with a way to avoid being kicked to the curb. And that was to renounce some of her marital privileges. So, hey, Muhammad, you don't have to spend time with me anymore. Just pretend I don't exist. Make sure I have some food delivered to my house. Other than that, spend all that time with Aisha. And the Quran praises her for that. No, but by the way, I mean, think what should the response have been if Muhammad is actually the pattern of conduct for all people and Allah's is good? The response should be, wait, you think Muhammad's going to divorce you because you're old? What are you crazy? This is the perfect pattern of conduct. He's going to take care of you for the rest of his life, like a good man. He's not going to kick you to the curb and leave you stuck. There's no situation where he's going to do that. But no,
Si-
Allah says, "Hey, great job coming up with a loophole, Sauda, and not getting kicked to the curb."
Seriously, imagine that. Think about that. We're not just talking about some random person who can only marry one person and all of that. We're talking about Muhammad, who is unlimited in his freedoms and all of that. The perfect moral conduct. The guy who is supposedly called the mercy upon mankind and all that nonsense. What he does, according to the Muslim sources themselves, is he has the first wife that he marries after Khadijah. He doesn't like her because she's not very fit. She's not very good. She's old now, and he wants to. He's like, yeah, you know what? I don't like this one anymore. How about I get rid of her? I divorce her, get new ones. I don't want to deal with this one anymore. That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks. Instead of coming up with a different solution to this problem, or instead of planning this problem properly, instead of saying, no, I am a person of perfect moral conduct, and I will never, ever subject you to this. I will keep you and I will take care of you until the last minutes, the last moments of your life. No, he's like, that one is old. I don't like that. I want the new ones. I want to get rid of that one. That's the perfect moral conduct. Mohammed. Here's one hadith. It says, Sauda feared that the Prophet was going to divorce her. So she said, do not divorce me, but keep me and give my day to Aisha. So he did so. And the following was revealed. Then there is no sin on them both if they make terms of peace between themselves, and making peace is better. So whatever they agree to make peace in something, then it is permissible. Is only one of many in which the backstory of it is described. You can find many articles and issues on the same thing. This is unanimously in Islamic history agreed that Sauda willingly gave up her right to Aisha just so he doesn't divorce her, and he actually agreed to it. That's Muhammad for you. Fantastic guy.
The perfect pattern of conduct.
Perfect moral conduct. Alhamdulillah. Once again, Muhammad's wonderful character strikes once again.
It was only in the migration that he had taken other wives, all of which were by the command.
Quickly, I want to say something here. Also, why in the world would you praise the guy for not taking any other wives while he was married to Khadija? He probably wasn't in any position to even think of taking any other wives, because Khadija would probably not want it. And he was obviously in an inferior position in that relationship. He married a wealthy, successful woman. He was a nobody. I'm pretty sure he couldn't have said, oh, you know what, I'm going to take a few more wives.
But by the way, did he just said that only after the migration Muhammad married other wives?
Yeah.
That's false. Hang on. No.
Do you know the timeline? I'm not sure.
He married Sauda and Aisha. He consummated the marriage to Aisha after the migration, but he married her and Sauda before the migration. I'm pretty darn sure about Sauda. Let's see. Sauda married Sauda the same month of Ramadan, the 10th year after the start of his prophethood. So you're talking around 619 to 620 area. And I just looked up Muhammad's marriage to Sauda, and they put 619 AD to 632 AD. 619. So this guy knows nothing.
Interesting detail. I can't say anything about it. I don't know the timelines of when he married or divorced.
Yeah, because there's actually there's some level of dispute about whether he married Aisha or Sauda first. But he married Aisha while he was still in Mecca. They just didn't consummate it. And then Sauda was also in Mecca, at least according to what I thought and according to everything I'm seeing right now. They're putting it at 619 or 620.
He married her as soon as Khadija died.
Were by the command of God Almighty. Because what happened when the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Oh, okay. Well, that solves it. The marriages were all by the command of Allah the Almighty. Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't Muhammad after all. So.
Yeah. Hey, little girl, I got some candy for you. The Almighty said, I need to bang you. Yeehaw. For what? For children. Oh, well, no, we're not going to have any children, but he still wants me to bang you. Can you imagine this defense in court? But God ordered me to bang this little girl.
Yeah, this is the excuse here. It wasn't Muhammad. It was Allah who ordered him to do that. He got a revelation.
Did he say all his wives?
I think so.
That he had taken other wives, all of which were by the command of
all of which.
Because
so when people come to him and say, "Oh, look, Sophia, she's so hot." All right, she's already been given to Diha al-Kalbi, guy who visits me quite a bit. All right, I got to get it. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
At least it's all of them.
Everything was by Allah's command.
But I mean,
Because,
think of,
because we all know, to be honest, Allah is in Muhammad's head. So Allah is Muhammad. Muhammad just creates the excuse of Allah wants this
Mhm.
whenever he wants something. So yeah, of course. I
yeah,
agree.
think about it. I mean, but some of the examples. So I mean, some of the examples are clear that Muhammad gets a revelation about a 6-year-old, the 6-year-old daughter of his best friend, that she's being handed to him as a present. And he interprets this as God is telling me to have sex with this little girl. If I had a dream where a little girl's being given, I go see a psychiatrist, or like do something to like whack, like hit myself in the head or something like that, or get a whip to lash myself for even having that sort of sick dream. But then with like Zainab, I mean, he sees Zainab and she's all hot, and then God wants me to have sex with the wife of my own adopted son, and then God tells him why, and it's you need to take the wife of your own adopted son so that other people see that it's okay. We're supposed to trust this guy. It's the same situation where these are the only people in the world, Muslim Cowboy and guys like him. They're the only people in the world who think some guy marrying a rich widow is proof that the guy has pure intentions. But they're also the only people in the world who think a guy running around saying, God wants me to bang this little girl. No, he wants me to bang this super hot girl. No, he wants me to bang all the super hot girls. Anyone who's super hot, I want to bang, and God wants me to bang them. He's the only person in the world who takes that as like some sort of evidence.
That is perfect morality. What are you talking about? That is perfect
sure
morality. Alhamdulillah. Andrew Morgan said, shekels for the cause. Would you consider doing a video of the in-jokes, leather straps, showers, and trajectories? Recent viewer who misses some of them. I will have to, that would take some serious work. It would have to be a very, very deeply researched video. And I might have to invite some scholars to do that video.
Plus the number of jokes. The number of jokes continues increasing, right? We get new jokes over time that become incorporated. So think about this. If the trajectory continues, we're going to end up with like 1,000 jokes, and people aren't even going to be able to understand. We're going to have our own language. No one's going to be able to understand except people who've been here all along.
Oh, there's a spider.
So what happened when the Prophet, peace be upon him, migrated? Allah, God Almighty, had decided that a state, an Islamic emirate, would be established for the promulgation of the religion of God, the same religion that has been around since the time of Adam. Worship.
According to who? According to Muhammad.
According to Muslim Cowboy.
God wants me to have sex with this little girl. According to who? According to Muhammad. God wants me to marry this super hot lady over here. According to who? According to Muhammad. Everyone had this same religion. According to who? According to Muhammad. Wait, the least reliable person I can even conceive of. I can't conceive of a less reliable person than Muhammad.
It's very simple. It's as easy as Muhammad goes to the Jews primarily in Medina. He goes to the Christians other than that, and he says to them, hey, this is the same religion that all the prophets followed. This is the same religion that was given to you. And they say, no, that's complete nonsense. It's obviously not. And he's like, yes, it is. Allah told me so. And these Muslims are today just accepting that. They're like, well, it is the very, very same religion. The very same religion that was given to Adam back then by Allah. Muhammad preserved it. Yeah, everyone else disagrees. Everyone else completely disagrees. And we can all historically even look at it and disagree because there's so much discrepancy. I mean, your religion doesn't know the name of its own God that it adopts from the biblical religions. Your religion has the Kaaba, which is a pagan temple that has nothing to do with Abrahamic religion, nothing to do with Abrahamic history and tradition. Your religion is a mixture of local Arab pagan beliefs and ideas taken from the Bible. So yeah, that's just complete nonsense.
Worship one God. Don't worship statues, don't worship stones, don't worship sticks, don't worship people, including Jesus and Muhammad.
Instead, worship a rock, worship a man, and bow to a giant cube.
So the Prophet Muhammad was the final messenger sent for this. And in the Medinan phase, he was sent to establish.
So, dear Muslim Cowboy, I want to ask you one simple question. What's the problem with Jews? What are they worshiping that is very problematic? What if the problem is just, if the issue is just worshiping one God, and you want to interpret, the Trinity or Christian beliefs as not fulfilling that requirement, what's your problem with Jews? Why do Jews not fulfill that requirement?
Because
Please let us know.
Muhammad, the perfect pattern of conduct, says there are supreme enemies in the Quran. Allah said it.
Allah said, yeah.
That's all that matters to me. Doesn't matter if it makes sense one bit.
Also, they believe that Ezra is the son of Allah, and they worship
Says it
Ezra.
right there in the Quran.
They reject it, but Allah says it.
By the way, given this guy's reasoning, hey, it doesn't matter what any source actually says. Allah says it, so that's final.
Yeah.
According to this guy, if you pointed this out and you lined up every Jew in history and said, "Do you guys call Ezra the son of God?" and every Jew in history said, "What are you talking about? We don't want to call Ezra the son of God." He would say, "Yeah, you do, because it says right there in the Quran." Yeehaw! That's my method.
Yeah, that is exactly
Muslim Cowboy, if you take away nothing else from this discussion, if you want to gather any point, just think about this. The method that you are using to defend Islam and defend everything you're saying could be used by anyone to defend any position. In other words, a Mormon could be sitting here going, "Says it right there in the Book of Mormon, so that's all that matters. Oh, they say I'm wrong. Who cares? Book of Mormon says it's true." Anyone could do what you're doing right now. An atheist Dawkins fan could be like, "Nope, what you're saying right there doesn't matter to me, because it says right here, Richard Dawkins said it, and I take him as the supreme pattern of conduct." Yeehaw!
I say it all the time. Allah told me literally that Muhammad didn't say any of these things. He didn't preach any of these things. What he preached was something completely different. It was a return. It was just an allegiance to Abrahamic beliefs. It was rather a Christian way of living and of thinking, and much more liberal than Islam is. And Muslims deny this, of course, because they are ignorant. But I was directly told that this is true by Allah Himself, while they are just following their own desires. May Allah curse you.
Hey, you got some dope in the chat. Muhammad Mazhar saying, "The only reason people like you are targeting Islam is because it is growing fast."
Yeah, that's exactly why. That's exactly why I'm doing it. All right.
What? Wait. What?
If the trajectory continues, we will never finish this video.
What planet is this guy living on that is collapsing from within? Oh, it's growing so rapidly. Welcome.
It is. He's also saying that Muhammad's marriage to Aisha was completely normal and legal. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was legal according to Muhammad's own laws. Dummy.
Was a state, a political state, meant to spread this message to the entire world. What happened? He married many women, and we have no problem with that. There is nothing objectively immoral about him marrying multiple women, nor is there anything objectively immoral about
Dude, he's pulling that Hakikachu move.
This is so stupid. Gosh, this is just something that you can't even argue against, because it is such a bad position. You can't argue against it, which is why it is so bad. There is simply no arguing with it. No matter what you say, and I said it at the very beginning, this is the entire problem with this guy. No matter what you say, he will say, "Nope, there's objectively nothing wrong with it. Nope, there's objectively nothing wrong with it. Nope, the Prophet Muhammad told us what is and is not right. Allah told us what is and is not right. And whatever you say, nope, there's objectively nothing wrong with it." Okay, thank you. Go F yourself. What am I supposed to say now?
and I have to say it's complete nonsense, because what the defense here would be, when you say something is objectively wrong, it means it's wrong regardless of what people may think about it. It's not your personal opinion that something is wrong. There's actually a standard of right and wrong, and this doesn't violate that standard of right and wrong. So what he would say is, we would say, okay, well, it is objectively wrong. It is objectively wrong to needlessly hurt the welfare of a child for your own sexual gratification. I would say
it's objectively not wrong.
Yeah. And so what's he going to say? He doesn't accept any source of objective morality except Islam.
It is not objectively wrong, David.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's what he's going to say, because
Nope.
What is the source of objective morality according to him?
No,
Islam.
it's not objectively wrong.
Yeah, that's what you're going to say.
Nope, it's not objectively wrong.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
the
not.
point. We're trying
it's
to make a point, and you're
it's
battling like
objectively-
the Muslim cowboy.
It's objectively not what I was going to say.
You're objectively defending the Muslim cowboy.
No, this is objectively wrong.
Yeah,
This is
so-
basically what the whole discussion would look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, and so guess what? Anything that this guy would say is wrong, you could do the exact same thing to him, right? If he's anything that this guy would say is wrong, if he says making fun of Muhammad is wrong, you say, is it objectively wrong? And he says, yeah, of course it is. You say, how? Well, it says right here. I don't accept that as I don't accept that as a source of objective morality. So it's not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so guys, this is part of the problem we're pointing out. If you define Muhammad as like the only pattern of objective morality, the only standard of objective morality, then you're stuck with this. That's one of the reasons we have a problem with this is what it causes here. Not what is actually good and healthy for little girls. It's how can we justify Muhammad and justify having sex with little girls?
Sweet home Alabama.
That's a good one.
I never thought of that. It's so simple. It's funny.
Mother Aisha, Mu'mineen, the mother of the believers, one of the greatest women in the entire face of the earth.
I don't care about your mama. I don't care about your mama, Muslim cowboy.
Now, when we look at all,
Look at this. It's
hey,
just
since
how they redefine it. It's just she was the mother of all believers. Excuse me. She was the best woman to walk the face of the earth. Okay, by what standard? Why was she the best? Please give me the. Please tell me why.
Okay, if she's the mother, who's the father? If she's the mother, who's the father?
The Quran says that Muhammad is not the father.
Hey,
of yours.
Hey, and guys, that is what the Quran calls them. That's Surah 33, verse 6, that Muhammad's wives are the mothers of the believers. Originally, Surah 33, verse 6 said that Muhammad is a father, but later that was taken out because Muhammad wanted to deny that Muhammad just had a problem with father figures and so on. It's a psychological issue that he had. But according to what the Muslim cowboy here is saying, he's saying, hey, this is our mother. This is our mother. So we can actually say and be completely correct, according to him, your mama was a child bride. Hey, Muslim cowboy, your mama was a child bride. You said it. You said that's your position. Interesting.
Your mom was a child bride.
all of his marriages, we noticed that they were typically all older than him. All of them were widowed or divorced, except
I actually made a list of this a long time ago. They make it look like these
All older than him?
were all very old women. That's not true. That's not really how it was. That's not really entirely true. Now hold on to your horse. Hold your horses right there. Hold your horses right there. I think I have a list somewhere where I actually wrote down something about Muhammad's wives. And wives of Muhammad, let's see, wives of Muhammad. Nope, that's not it. Let's see if is this wives of Muhammad. Let's see if that's it. Wives of Muhammad. Somewhere I made a list of all of his wives and how old they were at age of marriage, how old they were when he died, and so on. Let's see, where is that? Oh no, I can't find it. Oh no, what am I going to do now? Anyway, so some of them are quite young. It's not like they are all very old.
No,
Yeah.
Sophia was pretty young. Maria was pretty young there. Married the Copt, so they were both teens. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, not sure about some of the others.
I think Hafsa was in her early 20s.
Why did you wait so long?
So these weren't like remarkably old women or anything. They make it sound like they were divorced and widowed. That means they were probably like over 40 or something like that. No, many of them were quite at young ages. They were young ages when Muhammad found them very attractive. Muhammad found Zainab bin Jash very attractive, according to the Quran itself.
Just found one. Just found one thing that said Hafsa was 19. Not sure how sure they are of the dating and so on.
Yeah, I have in memory that she was around
She was around
the
20, yeah.
20, but not sure how old she exactly was. And many of them died at quite young. Many of them continued living long lives after Muhammad died because they were quite young. These weren't old people that were discarded that nobody would look at. No, he desired them. He liked them. He chose them. He wanted them. He had sex with them on a regular basis. The hadith say that he would visit all of his wives in the same night and have sex with them all because he had the sexual strength of 30 men. That's what the Quran says. Sorry, that's what the hadith say. The hadith also say that he was so aroused by the sight of a woman outside that he couldn't resist. He had to go to Zainab and have sex with her. It's not like Muhammad was this perfect moral conduct who was just taking care of these women. No, he was attracted. He couldn't have enough of these women. He chose them. His mouth got watery at the sight of these women. That's what it is. It is sexual. Okay, don't make it look like it was anything else. It was sexual.
All of them were widowed or divorced, except for Aisha. However, before she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, she had already had a proposal of marriage from another person from the tribe of Quraysh. Before the Prophet Muhammad...
Yeah, because marriage can be done as soon as you are born.
Yeah, I mean, think about what. My goodness, think of. Okay, imagine Imagine me marrying a 6-year-old girl, and you say, David, why are you so sick? You're marrying a 6-year-old girl, dude. You're 47 years old. What are you doing marrying a 6-year-old? And I say, well, some other guy wanted to marry her before me. Oh, okay, that's fine. Like, what?
Why didn't you say so?
What is wrong with this dude, man?
Why didn't you say so? Now it all makes sense. Yeah, that's
and I had a dream about her. Well, how are you gonna respond to that?
The most ridiculous aspect of it is that this guy didn't bring it up so far, but I hope he doesn't bring it up. They say there was great value, not like the Walmart brand, but there was great value in Muhammad marrying Aisha because she was young and they had a lot of intimate, a very intimate relationship, and she lived long enough to relate a lot of stuff about him. That was completely unnecessary. Muhammad died within 9 years after they got married. Some of his wives lived longer than Aisha did. Some of his wives died after Aisha died. So it was by no means necessary that she was that he would have to marry her because she would live so long and relate so many things or narrate so many things about him. All of this is completely unnecessary. It's a 50-year-old guy being sexually attracted to a little child and then marrying her. That's it.
Quick thing here. I just glanced at the chat again. Muhammad Mazhar says, yo, David, how about you debate me and get destroyed? Muhammad, I accept. Matter of fact, you'll have to send me the details very quickly. We can set it up for this coming Sunday. So just a couple days away, we'll debate whether Muhammad is a true prophet. So
Too bad. I already banned Muhammad Mazhar just now.
What'd you just do? Hey, send me the info, Muhammad Mazhar. You can find my my email on Answering Islam. So go to answeringislam.net. You can find my email address. Send me your info. And yep, we'll have a debate on whether Muhammad was a true prophet this Sunday, folks. You heard it right here.
He's gonna wipe the floor with you, David. Be careful. Careful.
Age 2, Jubair ibn Mut'im, who was one of the polytheists of Quraysh. And after the prohibition had come down from Allah Almighty, telling all of the believing women that they are not allowed to marry except for Muslim men, Abu Bakr, who was the best friend of the Prophet Muhammad and the father of our mother Aisha, he rescinded this marriage proposal. And what did he do? He proposed his daughter at the age of 6, according to the most authentic reports, to Muhammad.
Excuse me? Didn't we skip a few steps there? Didn't Muhammad first ask to marry Aisha because he had a dream? I was like, I have a dream that one day I will marry your little daughter and penetrate her. And he said, but Muhammad, Aren't we brothers? And he said, we are only brothers in faith. Didn't we skip that part, David?
Mhm.
Huh. Very interesting.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But what happened next? Did the Prophet ﷺ accept it right away? Actually, the Prophet Muhammad, as we know from authentic sources, that any dream he had was the truth. And sometimes
First of all, that's ridiculous. I mean, I mean that's false even according to Islam. That's false.
Why, David? What's your problem with this?
The battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr. Allah wanted the Muslims to go out and fight at the Battle of Badr, so He gives Muhammad a dream, telling him that only a few Meccans are going to show up, so the Muslims will easily be able to conquer them. Then the Muslims go out, and they're outnumbered 3-1. The Muslims are outnumbered 3-1 by the Meccans. But then Muhammad guarantees paradise to anyone who dies fighting these guys. So his followers become turbocharged. They actually win the battle. Then they go back. Hey, Muhammad, I thought we were supposed to be outnumbering them. Instead, they outnumbered us. And Allah reveals in the Quran, yeah, but I knew you'd chicken out if I told you the truth. So this was Allah deceiving Muhammad and his companions through a dream of Muhammad. What do you mean? What do you mean Muhammad's dreams are automatically true? What are you talking? Does this guy actually know anything?
Nope.
Doesn't sound like it.
I mean, according to the earliest Islamic traditions, dear Muslim cowboy, according to the earliest Muslim traditions, Muhammad himself was deceived by Satan, by Shaitan, to to recite verses that were put into his mouth by Shaitan himself. He thought they came from Allah. But then he noticed, oh no, I was deceived by Shaitan. He made me praise the idols of the polytheists. So he took it back and corrected himself and said, no. I was wrong. That wasn't actually from Allah. That wasn't actually from Jibreel. That was from Shaitan. So he had to correct himself. And he was so bad that he actually received wrong revelations, that even his revelations were unreliable according to the earliest Islamic sources. Of course, this was later changed. Later Muslim narrations abandoned that whole narrative because it no longer fit into their whole idea of Muhammad being this perfectly guided, wonderful character who can never be deceived and so on. But this was an early Islamic tradition. Muhammad was wrong on quite many things. and you are here making a claim that's not even remotely true. Muslim cowboy, what's the problem with you?
Times God Almighty would command him to do things based on what he saw in his dreams, similar to Abraham seeing his son Ismail in the dream to be slaughtered, the sacrifice the son. So the Prophet Muhammad's
Why is he zooming in on that? That doesn't even make
son
sense.
Ismail in the dream to be slaughtered, the sacrifice the son.
Okay. We all know that everything that I see in my dreams is true, by the way. Ari Osman said a little bit too loud. They said about Muhammad a little too loud. Stefan the Pelder said Christian, cherish life, atheist, zombify you, draw your own conclusion. Yeah.
Talk about the thumbnail.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Atheists celebrate death. CJ said, here is the... What? Here is the something specifically for semen. What is that?
It's like some sort of scrubbing thing.
Oh. Gift to Aisha. Dirt is good. Nice. That's nice. Appreciate it. Chloe said, oops, don't get GPT to say Momo was PDF. I am nearly banned. Really? I was trying it earlier when I saw your comment. Alexander said, if you both had to change your religion or lack of religion, what would you choose? Like Buddhism, Islam, Christianity for AP or atheism for David Wood? It's an interesting question. David, what do you say?
Yeah, I couldn't be an atheist, definitely couldn't be a Muslim. If I were to reject Christianity for some reason, I would probably be a generic monotheist or like a deist type, something like that.
So basically a non-answer. Fantastic.
That is an answer. Monotheism, just a random monotheist or a deist. That is a perfect answer.
It was the
It was the perfect move.
hold up. Based on what you just said, a Muslim is going to clip this and make a video and saying David Wood admits that he would become a Muslim because that is what Islam is. Alhamdulillah. He admitted right there that he would let go of all kinds of disbelief and polytheism and he would worship Allah alone and become a pure monotheist, just as
that
the
is
Quran tells us.
that is a dumb kind of dawah, because they'll do that. They'll say, hey, the Trinity is confusing. If you want belief in just one God, that's Islam. No, belief in one God is monotheism. What I'm saying is like a generic monotheism not plus a bunch of other specific revelations. Because if I was rejecting revelations that came through Jesus, I don't know what else in history I would accept. I would still have to believe in a creator, and therefore just like a generic monotheist. Muslims present it as, if you want to believe in just one God that's not confusing, be a Muslim. No, that's called that would be a monotheist. Islam is a kind of monotheism, delve into Allah, it gets pretty confusing real quick, plus a ton of other stuff. So it would be very different from a kind of generic monotheism. Is this plus about a trillion other things.
Yeah, Islam is stereotheism, actually. It's not monotheism. If I could choose, I would choose the cow.
Perfect non-answer.
I don't know. I'm not.
Wait, so was that you saying you'd be a Hindu?
That's good. No, I would say it would be something. I don't know. Don't force me to pick something. I would choose the cow, right? I would say, I don't know, Christianity or Buddhism. That would be. I'm between those. Okay, thanks. Mother Queen said, "Here's my jizya." That's pretty disgusting. I don't want to take your jizya. Hey AP, any update on Quran underwear? Yes, it is in the works. Alhamdulillah. Arya Wasserman said,
"Hey,
urinating upon one another."
I think Elle can actually make her underwear. She has a printing thing now where she can print stuff on fabric. So we could actually get a pair of boxers and have her print Quran verses all over it.
No, I think it would be something. I would just do something as that is very simple, like print on demand or something.
Yeah. No, I want the T-shirt that has Quran verses all over it, and then in the middle it says "Checkmate Jihadis." That they couldn't kill me without messing up the Quran.
Alhamdulillah. Arya Wasman said, urinating upon one another.
That's what
after
they do.
Drinking Zamzam water. That's what they do. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Yes, Vuxi said, gay man breathes. Muslim. I must throw it off a roof. Making two holes. Muslim. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping. Oh my God.
It's about right.
Mother Queen said, save Aisha. She was 9 years old. Toothbrush jihad. I don't buy your Allah. That's pretty good.
I don't buy your Allah.
Yeah.
So the Prophet Muhammad saw in a dream that he would be married to our mother Aisha. And in fact, when he saw
I saw in a dream that I will pee on the Kaaba.
this in the dream, Allah had already showed him, I have married you. So they were already married from above the 7 heavens. But let's continue. We know that they consummated the marriage at the age of 9. In Islam, a person cannot give consent, or a woman, until she reaches the age of maturity. In English, we use the word puberty. In Arabic, they would say that this is tamayyuz or balagh, right?
And you base that entire idea on interpretations by scholars, where scholars even disagree. Do you want me to pick scholarly opinions on this as well, Muslim Cowboy? Do you want me to read to everyone what scholars on this issue say? Scholars of today, scholars that are Salafis, scholars that are traditionalists, and who base their opinions on well-known, well-respected scholars. Do you want me to do that? David, did you want to say something here?
No. I shouldn't even be saying it, but it's him talking about dreams and him taking all this stuff seriously. And I told you about my dream about Daniel Hakikachu once, right?
No. Oh yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. So as much as I've interacted with the Dawa guys, I've never dreamt about any one of them But there was one time I was watching something by Daniel Hakikachu on child marriage, working on I don't remember what I was using it for, a tweet or something like that, and then I fell asleep. And I fall asleep, and Daniel Hakikachu is in my living room. So this is a dream. Again, I probably shouldn't even share this. I don't know why, but Daniel Hakikachu is there on the couch in my living room defending child marriage. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm about to start arguing with him. And I go, why am I putting up with this crap? Why does anyone put up with crap with guys sitting there defending child marriage? And I jump up out of my chair and I walk over to him and I go, playtime's over, fat boy. And he goes, what? And I go, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And I grabbed him and I drew my hand back. Right. And he cowered like this. He's like, ah! And I go, don't worry, I'm just teasing you. And I pat him on the head. Right. Then I turn around and I walk away and he thinks, David doesn't really want to fight. So he jumps up and I go, are you crazy? Are you insane right now? And he charges me and I snatch him up. And the entire time I'm just like banging his head on stuff. I'm like, are you stupid? Are you out of your mind? Who do you think you're messing with? Right. And I start banging his head all over everything. And anyway, I woke up and I thought that was funny. I was like, why do we just sit there and listen to these guys when they're sitting there spouting child? Anyway, according to Muslim Cowboy here, I'd say, this means I have to go start beating up Jawa guys because I got in the dream.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So there you have it. There you have it, folks. The one and only time I ever actually one of these guys appeared in my dream, and I ended up beating the crap out of him. But keep in mind that's a dream. I don't take it seriously.
It was a true dream given by Allah.
It was the perfect dream.
Mate, you wanted to get something?
Hold on, I want to listen to this guy for a second.
Yes, please. I would like to say that
who in the world sped up this dumb video, man? What is your problem? What is your problem?
Someone did that.
there is a big problem in Islam. It's written in the Hadith, which all good Muslims believe in the Hadith. And it is written in the Hadith that Prophet Muhammad was 50 or 53 years old when he sexually penetrated Aisha. No.
You couldn't. It's crazy because you couldn't plan that out that perfectly with the videography, with him saying it. It's all focused on him, and then as soon as he says it, then the crowd enters the picture and starts screaming. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like you would have to, if all these people were actors and so on, and you put this together, it would not be that perfect the way it just happened.
Yeah. That's why it was the perfect move. You know, it was the perfect move.
53.
Step away, lad. You're better than him. You're better than him.
He's still screaming. She was 9 years old. She was 9 years old.
Legend.
That wasn't exactly a clever move, mate, was it?
It was a very clever move.
You really think so?
It was the perfect
You know, it's people
I like it. They're trying to hold his arm down. It was the perfect move. They pull his arm down.
I love that. That's my favorite
awesome.
line from this whole thing. It was the perfect
move.
You really think so? You know, it's people like you. You know, it's people like you. No. How old was Joseph? How old was Joseph? How old?
You hear this, dude?
Yeah.
How old was Joseph? How old was Joseph? He's been programmed already.
What an idiot. What a moron.
Gosh, would have been cool to be there and say, how old was Joseph? And give your source. Oh, because I could give you 200 sources on the age of Aisha. How many sources you got?
That guy is a legend. That guy is indeed a legend.
Wow.
Anyway, let's see what else is.
She has reached balagha until she's either had her first hayd, which is having her menses, or her body physically changes from puberty. Because some women hit puberty without the menses, and their body goes through the changes of having the hair growth, their breasts and rear ends enlarged.
Shut the hell up.
Wait. Did he say Aisha had reached puberty?
He's basically describing that this is one of these things has to happen for one to be qualified to get married.
Show us this, because we know this is a response to us. And we pointed out, one, according to the Hadith, Aisha had not reached puberty. Two, we pointed out Surah 65 verse 4 allows marriage and sex with prepubescent girls. It specifically refers to marrying, having sex with, and divorcing and passing on to the next guy, girls all before the age of puberty. So looks like we're about to get some evidence. I have not seen any yet, but looks like we're about to get some.
And I'm going to pull out some other evidence here once he's done talking.
Etc., etc. This transitioning period is when a woman becomes a woman and is no longer a girl. And so we say, based on all times and all cultures, there has to be some sort of standard because people mature at different ages. You can't just say, oh, it's 18 because some people in some state somewhere in the
You absolute idiot, you absolute complete moronic retard. Sorry, we have proper standards in our time where we say that the age of 18 is actually quite an ideal age because it is based on the fact that a human begins, not completes, begins development at those very young ages that you are speaking of, when the body begins changing. This means the body starts preparing, starts developing for sexual maturity. It doesn't just complete, it doesn't just finish. The development doesn't just finish within a day or two. It takes many, many years. And on average, it is concluded that around the age of 15, 16 or so, it is the average person concludes that this development, which is why there is usually a grace period given, after which, to be safe, we consider people to be mature enough to now consent. That's what is happening. But you are like, oh, no, that's too arbitrary. That's too arbitrary. We say she's mature as soon as you see signs of development. I'm sorry, but I just want to say again, apply the very same logic to a child. As soon as you see signs of development in their speech, say, okay, they are now ready to rule the country. They're now ready to become president. Okay, now they are now ready to lead an army. It's very much the same logic here.
Mm-hmm. And look at what he just said, because it can kind of expose the stupidity of his position. He said, you can't just say 18. Yes, you can just say it. You can just say anything. I could just say 30. I can just say 50. You're saying you can't just say, when that's what you're doing. You're just saying a girl, the moment she has reached any sign of puberty starting, is ready to be banged and she's a fully grown woman. You're just saying that. And you're just saying that Aisha had reached puberty. You're not giving any evidence. At least he hasn't already. You're just saying that it's a requirement to reach puberty. You haven't given any evidence. Everything this guy does is just saying. And then he says, well, you can't just say it. Yes, you can just say it. The question is, are you speaking truthfully? So you're just saying everything, and you expect us to just go, oh, okay, well, he just said it, so it must be true. It's insane. I mean, this is
every single academic, every single scientific, every single medical source will disagree with everything this guy says, and will disagree with everything that these Islamists say about child development and about marriage. If they are faced with that, Muslim Cowboy, I believe that you are a dishonest bastard, right? But prove me wrong. Let's assuming that you have an intention to be an honest guy. If you are faced with academia, if you are faced with science, with the medical experts on the matter, and they respond to you, for example, and they say, no, you are completely wrong on this. This is very dangerous. You shouldn't be spreading this nonsense. It is completely different. Development only begins at that stage. It ends much later. Only then are people considered mature and ready, and so on. What will you say as a response to that? Will you accept that? Will you accept their authority and their insights, which are based on actual reasoning, on actual research, on so much understanding of the human body and the human psyche? Or will you just say, no, I don't accept it. I don't accept it because we know what's right. Because the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a dream, and the dream is better than your science. Is that what you're going to say? I'm really curious. Will you really, honestly, when faced with the facts, accept that you are wrong and finally stop spreading this nonsense, or not? Because this is a cancer, and this is why we're doing what we're doing right here. to deal with this cancer, to counter this cancer. And here, I want to bring up something here. An article from Islam Q&A. Everyone who engages in dawah and other stuff is familiar with this page. Very notorious, very, very honest. Here they get into answering the question of consummating marriage or marrying a young girl. Look at this. Let me read some of this here. Since he is acting like this is all agreed, in Islam we know this. Let's read this. Marrying a young girl before she reaches the age of adolescence is permitted in Sharia. Indeed, it was narrated that there was scholarly consensus on this point.
Consensus.
Allah says, and those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them the iddah, prescribed period, if you have doubt about their periods, is 3 months. And for those who have no courses, i.e. they are still immature, their iddah, prescribed period, is 3 months likewise. So those who have not yet had any signs of, in this verse, this is Talaq 65:4, in this verse we see that Allah has made the iddah in case of divorce of a girl who does not have periods because she is young and has not yet reached puberty. 3 months. This clearly indicates that Allah has made this a valid marriage. So, dear Muslim Cowboy, you might be arguing that they have to reach a certain time, it has to be puberty and so on. This article here says it is agreed that there is no such requirement. Allah sees a marriage valid where puberty has not yet been reached. It was narrated from Aisha that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old. He consummated the marriage when she was 9, and she stayed with him for 9 years. Bukhari, Muslim, and so on. The Prophet married Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9, and so on. The fact that it is permissible to marry a young girl does not mean that it is permissible to have intercourse with her. Rather, and look, this might sound like, oh, okay, so they agree with Muslim Cowboy.
Yeah,
No.
see?
Rather, that should not be done until she's able for it. And it's just going to get worse now. For that reason, the Prophet delayed the consummation of his marriage to Aisha. Al-Nawawi said, with regard to the wedding party of a young married girl at the time of consummating the marriage, if the husband and the guardian of the girl agree upon something that will not cause harm to the young girl, then that may be done. If they disagree, then Ahmad and Abu Ubaid say that once a girl reaches the age of 9, then the marriage may be consummated even without her consent. But that does not apply in the case of who is younger. So,
and again, what do they mean when they say not harm the girl? They mean ripping her open, causing a fistula, or crushing her. So turning the two holes into one. Because keep in mind, when we read this as Westerners, we say, "Oh, it says don't cause harm to the young girl." Well, you wouldn't have sex with a young girl at all because it's going to harm her, and therefore you should wait until she's significantly older. We interpret it like that. That's not what they mean. That is not what they mean. They mean like screwing up your future child bride. Don't do something that's going to cause her to, you can't even have sex with her anymore because you either crushed her while having sex with you, broke her bones and so on, or you gave her a fistula, making her 2 holes 1 hole because you tore her open. That's what they were concerned about as far as harming a girl.
Yeah, according to the Islamic scholars, this is very well recorded. The parents, so the guardians, and the husband may decide at any point when they see it fit, when they think, okay, you know what, we don't think that she's going to be harmed by this, that she can now have sex and you may now consummate the marriage with her. It doesn't matter if she reached puberty or not. That's how sick this is.
Yeah,
it may be done. And they say if she does reach the age of 9, then it can be done no matter what, even without the consent. Because the basis for that is, the standard for that is that Muhammad consummated the marriage at the age of 9, which is why the scholars say, okay, past that point we can no longer judge. The Prophet Muhammad did it, so we may do it too.
Yeah, you see the rest of this, by the way. No age limit.
Malik al-Shafi and Abu Hanifa Malik, Al-Shafi, and Abu Hanifa said the marriage may be consummated when the girl is able for intercourse, when she is able for intercourse, which varies from one girl to another, so no age limit can be set. Nowhere does it say puberty. This is the correct view. There is nothing in the hadith of Aisha to set an age limit or to forbid that in the case of a girl who is able for it before the age of 9, or to allow it in the case of a girl who is not able for it and has reached the age of 9. Al-Dawudi said Aisha has reached physical maturity.
And what do they mean by physical maturity? Do they mean she's an adult or puberty? No, I mean you're not going to crush her, and she's able to take a grown man's penis and not get a fistula.
Here is the standard. That they will agree that there is no harm done to the girl, meaning that you will not permanently damage her. So if she reaches puberty or not, when these guys decide that she can actually take it, then the guy may start having sex with this little girl. No matter if she is actually, biologically, if she's actually physically developed or not. If these guys think, yeah, we think she's ready. We don't think you will crush her if you have sex with her. Then he'll be like, oh, finally. Then he will give her the candy and he will have sex with her. This is what Islam is. That's what maturity means here. If you have anything else to offer, Muslim Cowboy, to correct this part, then
it's very simple. Show us, Muslim Cowboy, where it says that puberty is required, because that's the opposite of what the Quran says. The Quran says you can bang away even before puberty. You do find in the hadith, you find this sort of weak harm principle, don't harm, but we look at what that means, and it's not helping you at all. So show us the evidence that Aisha had reached puberty. Show us that Islam requires a girl to reach puberty. If you can't, we can only go with what your sources say, and your sources deny that Aisha had reached puberty, and your sources say that you can have sex with a girl before she's reached puberty. So where are you getting that? We want to know where you're getting this from. It sounds like you heard some stuff from Ali Dawa 5 years ago, and you've never done the slightest bit of research. That's what it sounds like. We're asking you to prove us wrong and show us the evidence. You just keep saying it, and according to you can't just say it.
Yep. Also, you're making it look like this is Islam. In Islam, this is how we think. In Islam, this is what we say. Yeah, obviously, these scholars here disagree with you. So, who are we supposed to believe now?
And we could go through them all day on 65.4. I mean, I have endless scholars. You pick a famous Muslim scholar over the past 14 centuries. They explain what 65.4 means.
Alhamdulillah.
World say that it's 18. This is completely subjective and has no basis in reality.
You are an idiot. It is completely based on very, very well tested standards, and if you are going to ignore those, then you're just an ignoramus. That's it.
And hey, by the way, how long do you think we can keep him defending child marriage?
I don't know.
I mean, how long before it gets so embarrassing for them that his followers will you just shut up? Will you just shut up? They're embarrassing our entire religion because you think you can defend this stuff.
Well, let's see where it goes. Let's see how far they can go.
Well, and if you think that that's right or morally just, you're just making things up. So God Almighty.
Yeah, that's not called making things up. It would rather be you making things up. We can present to you all of the evidence.
Look at everything he's making up. He's making up a definition of woman. He's making up the idea that Aisha had reached puberty. He's making up the idea that their Quran requires you to. He's making all of this up. This is all made up. This guy is like the king of bid'ah right now. He's the king of it. He's the king of innovation.
Yeah.
In his infinite wisdom had decided for us when is the proper time for anyone to get married. For a man, it's the same way. It's either when he has his first wet dream or when he has the physical changes of puberty, i.e. having hair grow on the private parts, on his legs, etc.
He says Allah decided this. Where is he getting this from? I have no idea. Where are you getting the idea that a girl has to reach puberty? I'm asking you, Muslim Cowboy, tell us where you're getting this. I have no idea. Where?
I remember an Islamic scholar saying that as soon as I think it might have even been been Ibn Kathir, which sounds implausible to me at the moment, but it might even have been him, saying that a person is once they had their first wet dream, they are ready to get married. This is actually a scholarly opinion that I read as well. I just don't remember who it was and in what source that was.
Yeah, and
But this is not based on Quran or Hadith.
That's
It's not
what I
based
mean.
on.
That's
yeah.
where are you getting this from? Because he said Allah. He said Allah defined it that way. Whereas, where are you getting this from? Why? Or notice earlier he was putting stuff up on the screen. He's putting sources up on the screen, and now he's just saying stuff and not putting sources up on the screen. Why is that? Why are you not putting up sources now when everything you were saying earlier you were putting sources up on the screen? Is it because I don't have any sources for what you're saying now, and it's just all made up, which means this is complete innovation, and you just don't care? Why are you look, Muslim Cowboy, if you're going to make things up, and if you think you could just invent this as you're going along, why are you even saying that Aisha was 9? Just say she was 18, like other liars.
Hey, look at this one. Look at this one, Muslim Cowboy. Look at this one. The other Islam QA. This is a question answered directly by Hanafi scholars, who also happen to be very important in the world right now, most populous Muslim believers. Look at this. The question asked here, a scholar who is responding to this is Sheikh Ibrahim Desai, whoever that is, might be one of those Deobandi people, whatever it is. What is the minimum age for a girl for her to consummate her marriage with her husband? Is it puberty? Answer: in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Read this carefully. Listen carefully, Muslim Cowboy and everybody else. The permissibility of consummating a marriage with a girl is based on her physical strength and not her age. If consummating the marriage will be injurious to her health, then it will not be permissible to do so, although she may have reached the age of puberty. And listen to the following now. However, if consummating the marriage will not be injurious to her health, then it will be permissible to do so, although she may have not reached the age of puberty. Did you hear that? I can repeat it again. I can repeat it one more time here. However, if consummating the marriage will not be injurious to her health, then it will be permissible to do so, although she may have not reached the age of puberty. This is the response given by Hanafi scholars on a very famous Hanafi website upon the question, when are we allowed to consummate marriage to little girls? These guys are saying puberty, age, none of it matters. It all depends on physical strength, whether the girl can take it or not. If you think the girl can take it, it doesn't matter if she's still prepubescent. It doesn't matter if she's reached puberty or not. Puberty plays no role here at all. What plays a role here is whether she can physically take it or not. I will read this one more time. Get this into your dumb head, Muslim Cowboy, and everybody else who still goes around saying, oh, according to Islam, it is maturity and puberty and this and that. No, this is the disgusting thing that Islam is. This is the disgusting stuff that we're dealing with. The permissibility of consummating a marriage with a girl is based on her physical strength and not on her age. If consummating the marriage will be injurious to her health, then it will be not permissible to do so, although she may have reached the age of puberty. However, if consummating the marriage will not be injurious to her health, then it will be permissible to do so, although she may have not reached the age of puberty. And who decides if she is fit, if she is able or not? The husband and the guardians. Are those guys reliable people? Always? I don't know. Lots of people do horrible things to their own children. Lots of people are brainwashed by child molesters and pedophilia advocates like you guys. Are we supposed to trust that the parents will always do the right thing? Do you trust that if parents make the decision to transition their own children, to do a gender transition, which is very, very frequently now the case, a matter of discussion in the public. As Muslims, do you have an objection to that, or do you think no, the parents know best? Let the parents decide. If the parents think it's okay, then let them just do whatever they want. What do you think?
Yeah, I just wanted to run down because I mean, people may not understand what this guy's actually claiming here when he said, "Oh, I know better than everyone else who's ever lived." So Surah 65 verse 4 talks about divorcing women who are too old to have a monthly cycle, so they've gone through menopause, and girls who don't have monthly courses yet. The commentaries. Ibn Kathir says this refers to the young who have not reached the years of menstruation. He says it's specifically about why, because that's what it says. He says this refers to the young who have not reached the years of menstruation. The two Jalals, Tafsir Jalalain says, and also for those who have not yet menstruated because of their young age. It refers to girls who have not menstruated because of their young age. Ibn Abbas gives the historical background. He says that it's a response to a man who specifically asked, quote, "O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who did not have menstruation because they are too young?" Everyone agrees on what this is about. Even so, those are classical Muslim commentaries. Maududi was 20th century. After discussing this, he says, therefore, making mention of the waiting period for the girls who have not yet menstruated clearly proves that it is not only permissible to give away the girl in marriage at this age, but it is also permissible for the husband to consummate marriage with her. Now, obviously, no Muslim has the right to forbid a thing which the Quran has held as permissible. So they all say this is talking about prepubescent girls. And if you'd like a quick rundown of other scholars, Al-Razi, he gives the historical background. He said a man got up and said, "O Messenger of God, what is the waiting period for a young girl who did not menstruate yet?" This is talking about what happens after you've married, had sex with, and you've divorced a girl all before she's ever menstruated. That's what Surah 65:4 is explaining. Qatada ibn Diyama says it refers to those who have not yet menstruated. Al-Sudi says it refers to young girls. Tabari says it refers to girls who do not menstruate because they are too young. Bukhari says it refers to girls before puberty. Muqatil ibn Sulaiman says it refers to young girls who did not menstruate yet. Ibn Kathir, we've gone through. Two Jalals, we've gone through. Zamakhshari says it refers to the young ones. Al-Tabarisi says it refers to those who didn't reach puberty yet. Al-Qurtubi says it refers to the young. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani says he made the waiting period 3 months for those who haven't hit puberty yet, which indicates that giving her into nikah before puberty is permissible. You've got 14 centuries of Muslim scholars all saying, of course, this is talking about marrying, having sex with, and divorcing and passing a girl on all before she has ever menstruated, before puberty, period. No pun intended. And the Muslim cowboy, no, I know better. I'll just make it up as I go along, because I saw Ali Dawa say that if his daughter got her first menstrual cycle at the age of 9, he'd tell her she's ready for marriage. So that's what Islam must be. Ali Dawa, hee-haw. What is this guy? Man, this is a joke, man. It feels like a joke.
Yeah, there is no other religion that is that is doing this in the world. This is the sickness that we're dealing with. This is why Islam is the sickness. Islam is the sickness. This is the issue we're dealing with. And here, who's this? Omar Mujahid said, "You got a Jewish God." This is what you have to say. Like in the middle of this discussion, this is what you come with. You absolute imbecile. When you look at the world religions out there, Islam is by far the most ignorant religion. You dumbass. Your entire religion is based on Judaism. Your entire religion is based on taking Jewish Christian teachings without understanding any of them. Taking half of them and not even understanding what they are and what they refer to. You don't even, your own God, you adopt your God from biblical religion without even understanding what that God is, what he stands for, what his name is, what he revealed to the people before Islam. You don't even know anything about the biblical history. You don't even have a Bible. the Jews and Christians together have a scripture that is huge. It's huge compared to the Quran, which is in comparison. If you put it all into the same size, the same amount of words, the same thickness, it is a tiny book that compares in no way. You rely on knowledge taken from the Bible without ever having any access to the Bible, because you are somehow taught that the Bible was at some point corrupted, because it turned out later on that your Islamic idiotic beliefs are so out of touch with the Bible. And if you actually look at the Bible, it will refute Islam through and through, which is why you are left with this little stupid book that is so ignorant, that is the most ignorant religion in the world, that has no history of its own, no culture of its own, no knowledge of its own, nothing. That is just a synchronized belief that is pre-Islamic Arab polytheism, which is the butt of humanity in the 7th century, completely ignorant, underdeveloped, still so now, by the way, trying to be an Abrahamic religion. That is what your religion is. So don't come here with these bullshit remarks. You have the dumbest religion in the world, the dumbest religion in the world, and the best thing it does right now is to advocate for child marriage, because that's how sick you guys are.
Yeah, and I have to say, Umar Mujahid, you have an Arab God. He only speaks Arabic. You have to talk to him in Arabic. Doesn't matter where you come from. And he's obsessed with all of his followers living, breathing, walking, talking, even going to the bathroom like a 7th century Arab. Sounds like you have, and you talk to Muhammad, 7th century Arab, in your prayers. You speak directly to him. Everything is Arab. You can only read in Arabic, but I have to say, since you started insulting, random insults, I'm being generous. That is that's a 1-page penalty. That's a 1-page penalty.
Alhamdulillah. I actually did enough already, but maybe I should.
Omar Mujahid. This is only happening because you started. We're talking about an issue. If you want to actually interact with the issue, that's fine. When you start tossing around random insults, random pointless insults, showing how dumb you are, like your God and your fake prophet, we honor your decisions. We honor your decisions, but you know what the penalties are. We lay down the rules. If you violate the rules, you know what the penalties are. So your choice.
At least he acknowledges that Jesus was a Jew. So
you worship a Palestinian God.
Yeah, at least he didn't say you have a Palestinian God, right?
Same thing for women. So this is the age of marriage. A woman is completely liable for her actions at this point as well, where if she is to sin, she will get the sin of that. And if she was to do good,
shut up, I can't do this anymore.
Any source for anything he said?
I think we've heard enough, right? I don't think there's anything of value for in the. Do you consider it worthwhile to continue with this, or what do you think?
I mean, if he's going to provide a source for anything he says, and show that that Aisha had reached puberty, or show that that the Quran says a girl has to be pubescent before you have sex with her.
Oh my God! Look where he's going. Instead of providing any source for anything he said, look where he's going next.
Oh yeah. Let's see this. Yeah, what's the article source? What's the article source?
Completely able and capable to run affairs of the state at ages such as 9, 10, 11, 12. According to the church, Mary herself was between 13 and 14.
Historians agree. The Virgin Mary, who served as the mother of Jesus on earth, is known for her spiritual maturity. She inspires many people through her example of faith and trust in God. In art, Mother Mary, so this is Catholic, is often portrayed as a fully grown woman. But how old was Mary when she had Jesus really? Mary was actually a young teen when she gave birth to Jesus. Give us a source. What's the source? Notice it never crosses his mind to say chapter and verse or to quote a source. He quotes a website. Mary was actually a young teen. That's interesting, young teen. So not 9, even according to the site. When she gave birth to Jesus, historians believe. Just how young? Historians agree that Mary was most likely between 12 and 14 years old when Jesus was born. What do they mean most likely? You know what they mean by most likely, Muslim Cowboy? Because they don't actually have a source on it. So they set, why do they set 12 as the minimum?
I just searched the article. I found it. It is on crosswalk.com, which is a very old website that some people might still know of.
Yeah. So check this out.
A Christian website.
So Muslim Cowboy. Historians agree Mary was most likely between 12 and 14. Why? Why not 10? Why not 9? Because the rabbis wouldn't allow you to marry someone before the age of 12. So they put that as a minimum, and they assumed that it wouldn't have been, that she wouldn't have been waiting for a long time. So they're assuming that she was young. Notice which historians is this even talking about? Because our good friend Mike Jones has actually compiled the data, and the average age at which girls were married was significantly older than that. And so what do you have to go on? You have no actual source on what her age was. You only have, here's what you have. You have historians who are saying, well, if she was allowed to be married off at 12, then it was probably that, or maybe a couple years later. So 12 to 14, probably. But people have actually assembled the data that we have on what were the actual ages that girls got married, not when they were allowed to get married. When did they actually get married? And you end up with an age several years older than this. But notice, you could grant everything. You could grant everything that's being said. I could say 100% that is true. She was 12 to 14. What's that mean? Is that 9? Is that getting you 9? And is that getting you prepubescent? No and no. And by the way, this Catholic sites would say Mary never had sex, period. So what are you even talking about? What are you talking about? And so what are you going to say? Well, that's when Joseph married her. Joseph is not our pattern of conduct or an authority. And Joseph could be an axe murderer. It affects us not at all. So how is this a response? When we say Aisha was 9 years old, what are we doing? We're saying, well, there's this website that says, no, we're saying here, we'll give you dozens of sources saying she was 9 years old. You just said 12 to 14. Yeah, you just said 12 to 14. Give us an accurate source, a trustworthy source saying that she was 12 to 14. Just give us one.
Hey, Muslim Cowboy, my recommendation is there was a debate that took place not so long ago. It was a glorious debate. It was a perfect debate. It took place between inspiring philosophy and your fellow Muslim Daniel Kikichu. It was an absolute humiliation. Go watch it. All of your objections here, everything that you're talking about here was addressed directly there. And it was a wonderful spectacle. It was a wonderful thing to watch. I still thank IP every day for having that debate. So go and watch that debate.
So
and look at all the sources that IP gave Daniel.
Yeah, just to recap, Aisha, according to the Hadith, had not reached puberty. The Quran does not require puberty. And so we're saying, hey, look at this. You can have sex with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds all before the age of puberty. What's going on here? And his response is, well, according to this website, which doesn't give a source for anything and just makes this claim, historians agree. Show us the historians who agree, because I've seen historians all over the place on this. What do you mean historians agree? There's a consensus? Show me the consensus. I would love to see that. But he doesn't. So he quotes this saying she was 12 to 14. So notice a 12 to 14-year-old can be finishing puberty. And according to this site, she never had sex at all. How is this supposed to be a response? Like how? I can't figure out how in their mind. Well, this is a response to Muhammad having sex with a prepubescent 9-year-old girl and the Quran allowing it. This is so weird. It's I don't know what to do, man. It's like there's some screws loose in the head, and they think this is a response.
Screws
loose. Muslim Cowboy. 1, let's pretend that 14 is the same as 9. It's not. But give us a source on that. Give us an accurate source on that. Love to see it.
Yeah, we gave you lots of sources, Muslim Cowboy.
We give you piles of sources.
This is how sources work. We gave you lots of sources so far in this conversation here, or in this review here, in this deconstruction of whatever you're presenting here. So yeah. Listen, I'm kind of personally sick of this, and I want to get into super chats because there are
and little side note. both rabbinic law made 12 a minimum age, and Catholic canon law made 12 years old the minimum age for marriage. So notice either one of those would say Islam is wrong. So how are you saying, aha, this is when marriage would be technically allowed, therefore 9 is okay? Like what? Wait, what? Jews and Christians both somehow concluded, guys, do not start talking about marrying a girl before the age of 12. That's gross. And you're going, well, yeah, see, 12, you see, that's a response to 9.
Yeah, and then he goes into Amalek and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't care no more. I'm sick of this.
Well,
I am sick of this.
This is Islamic dawah nowadays, ladies and gentlemen.
Islamic dawah.
Make up stuff, lie about what Islam teaches, lie about Mary, lie about everything, and that's how you guide people to the truth, by lying to them endlessly.
I have no problem with makeup itself. It's just when people like these make things up, it's pretty bad. Shibasi, face it, guys. Pikachu has redefined the term map. It now means maturity attracted pedo.
Mm-hmm.
Or for the extreme apologists, marriage attracted pedo. That's good. That's good. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Ezra Gregory said, oh, wait a minute. Speaking of pretty good. Let's see. I have to quickly take a break from being professional here and look at whether the first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the last season, is out now. I think it's coming out today or tomorrow or something.
It's going to be pretty good.
It's going to be out in a few days. It's nice. Can't wait.
Where's that going to be playing?
On HBO.
Oh, I've got HBO. I can watch it.
You don't know where Curb Your Enthusiasm? Of course, yeah, that's where it is. Or you usually don't know what you're using because.
No, I watched some of it back. I've mainly watched YouTube clips of it. I did see some episodes on like DVD like years ago.
That's fun. Ezra Gregory said, I found out that Muslim Cowboy's grandfather is also Farfor's grandfather, which would explain why he is attracted to farm animals. Mr. Mac, I'll come to the law. Yeah. Ayatollah Khamenei said, Brother AP, I'm always wandering the desert in pure semen. MashaAllah, you will understand the power of pure semen walking, and Allah will give you 10 times blessings. Alhamdulillah. That's very interesting. I didn't know this. Can you send me some studies on that, Ayatollah Khamenei? I will be waiting. Thank you. I'll be watching. Curious Cat said, Momo a homo? Momo chomo homo.
Momo the chomo.
Momo chomo the homo. Raika SS says nothing. It makes us
used to make a video called Momo the chomo or Momo the homo, and you can say both.
No, I will say, in the end, we must conclude that with more certainty we can say Momo the chomo, although we cannot fully exclude Momo homo.
Or the motto of Islam: with great power comes great pedophilia.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Ari Wasserman said, if Muhammad had to choose between Dua Lipa and the goat, Dua Lipa and the goat, he'd choose the cow. Dua Lipa. Thomas Smith said, so the late night visits would explain the looseness of his leather straps. I think it's a mix of Momo, semen, and others. That makes sense. That completely makes sense. ES 1002 said, if it's sunnah to wear you a jizya, what do women wear?
They wear scrub brushes so they can take care of the problem.
That makes sense. This is why you should have been in Muhammad's place. Byron Maldonado said, tell David Wood to say golden shower, please.
Golden shower, please.
Reika has made another super chat. Thank you so much. Nutters made a jizya payment. Thank you, Nutters. What's up? How you doing? I still need to get to making casual videos. I will do that, Nutters. I will do that. And then I will give you jizya. Saint Sarah Walker says, look up Isaiah 28:10 LEB. David, what is Isaiah 28:10 LEB?
I don't know about I don't even know what LEB is.
You don't know what LEB is? It's the literal English.
Oh.
No, it's not. What is it? What is that? LEB Bible? What kind of Bible? Lexham English Bible? What is that? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, Lexham English Bible.
Isaiah 28:10. What does it say?
Oh, oh, okay, yeah. No, I actually like that verse. I actually like that verse. But yeah, they put it, for it is blah blah upon blah blah, blah blah upon blah blah, gaga upon gaga, gaga upon gaga, a little here, a little there.
Oh,
That's funny.
for he says order on order, order on order, line on line, line on line, little here,
Yeah.
little there.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's the normal translations.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a nice. What is the context? What is happening here in this chapter? That's nice.
Yeah, you can see that as some of them are like precept upon precept, line upon line, and so on. Here a little, there a little, and so on.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
That's pretty based. It's pretty based. Wait a minute. Now I want to see what the LEB says. Okay.
Yeah, it says
Oh,
blah blah
okay,
blah blah
okay,
blah
that-
blah.
okay.
That's what they keep.
That's-
It's all the blah
that's-
blahs.
That's what you looked up. Okay. For it is blah blah. That's an interesting translation. Right?
Because if you look at what happened, it's for by people of strange lips and with a foreign tongue, the Lord will speak to his people, to whom he has said, this is rest, give rest to the weary and his repose, yet they would not hear. So you're going to be punished by foreigners, and this gets translated as precept upon precept, line upon line, and so on. They're trying to make sense of it. But the Lexham English Bible is saying, no, it's talking about you're going to be dominated by foreigners who are just it's going to be babble to you. You're not going to understand anything they're saying.
Avoid is blah blah bum blah 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 bum blah blah gaga bum gaga gaga bum gaga.
That is
little
pretty
here,
funny.
little
That
there.
is pretty funny translation. Isn't it?
That is a pretty good. I like this verse. This might be my favorite verse now. In the Lost Injil, you read about semen on the mount.
That's the missing Islamic Injil.
Chloe L. AP, do you agree Mo was the worst of mankind, the most immoral, but Jesus was the best of mankind and the most moral, even if you didn't believe he's God? I can. How about I meet you half, like in the middle somewhere? I can say it is very difficult for me to say that that Momo. I would say Momo was a horrible, terrible being, and should never be taken as a moral character, as an example for all humanity. In that way, definitely terrible, definitely horrible. That said, I must be fair, and I cannot say that he was the worst. I don't know who was the worst.
Yeah, I would have to think like what exactly are the criteria? Because if you said, as an individual, not counting his influence, is he the worst person ever? I would suspect that there have been way worse people. Well, I can't say way worse people, but there have been worse people than Muhammad. When you factor in that he also founds his own religion and imprints this on the world, and so it's not just him molesting a little girl. And when I say that, I'm saying, okay, so what are you saying that Muhammad is really bad? So Muhammad is really bad for molesting a little girl. Guess what? There are people who molested hundreds of children and so on. So they would be worse.
Worse things.
When you factor in the fact that he convinced literally billions of people to believe that he is the pattern of conduct, then it's kind of everything that follows is his responsibility as well. So if you factored in his impact as well, I think you can make a case. If you're just focusing on the individual and just what the individual did, I think there are probably worse people than Muhammad. But if you factor in everything and his impact, you can make a case that he's the worst ever.
I'm just imagining myself as a regular mainstream American political commentator on the left here in this case, answering this question as, oh no, I have to say Trump, for example, is much worse. To be fair, I can also imagine somebody from the other side of the political spectrum saying something similar about Joe Biden, for example, just now. Before that, it was Obama. But yeah, these are always very funny conversations to see, and whenever I see those, I think, what's wrong with you guys? But yeah, when it comes to, and was Jesus the best? For me, I would say I really admire what Jesus stands for. But in neither case, in both directions, in neither case can I say best or worst. I have to be fair with myself here. Can't make that statement about anybody. I don't know. Go on, Oz Bulldozer. But hey, I hope you are happy with the response, Chloe. I still met you in the middle somewhere, I hope. Go on, Oz Bulldozer said, did y'all check out God, Syria, Bashar, and Graham Ranch? I will check it out.
I am not going to check out Ram Ranch at all, under any circumstances.
David's gonna check out Ram Ranch. I will check out Syria, Bashar, or something. Dear Wolfie said, "Hey, we don't do the reverse cargo around here. We don't turn our back on family." Atakan made a chat super shekel from Turkey and said, "My dream is to see Ridvan Ademir as the president of religious affairs of Turkey." That's very flattering. But my dream would be to see the Turkish government and state completely abolished and replaced with a new one. I don't know. But hey, I appreciate it. Blue said, "Why is it difficult for them to say Muhammad was wrong? M is not God. He can be flawed. Millions matured kids abused now while these justify it." That's the problem with Islam. That's the problem with Islam. Ironically, Islam is the only religion within the Abrahamic, within the collective of faiths that are based on Abrahamic belief, where a regular human who is considered only a prophet is taken as a perfect moral example that is flawless and that is almost worshipped. So, you could say it is almost like how Christians think of Jesus, but Christians have the right to think of that about Jesus because Jesus is divine, whereas Muslims are not supposed to think that way about Muhammad because Muhammad is only a prophet, but they do. It is almost like a demigod, a lesser god besides Allah. In fact, you could say that they are even more protective about Muhammad than they are about Allah. Insulting Allah is sometimes not that big of a deal, but insulting Muhammad will really get you in trouble. It's really messed up. What do you agree, David, with that assessment? Yes, you do. Thank you.
No, you're totally wrong.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
As usual.
Peace be upon me. Said Muslim Cowboy reminds me of Yosemite Sam on Camel. We had an interesting conversation about that a long time ago. UUB said, or Jujub said, "Go good, yeehaw, David."
Yeah, that was a pretty good one earlier.
That was pretty good. That was pretty dope. Emmanuel said, "AP and David, which scenario would be more damaging to Muslims? MU never exists, Quran is completely fabricated, or Islam is a man-made religion?" What?
I think those would all be pretty equivalent. I mean,
Yeah,
you could have the Quran being completely fabricated without Muhammad never existing, but I think those would all play roughly the same role.
MU actually stands for Muhammad University. Yeah, but I would agree with that. Yeah. Hazrat Muhammad said, "David Wood, there is a saying in Texas, big head, no cattle." There is. That's interesting. That's pretty good. Addison Weir said, "Off topic, but is there a good article or video I can direct leftist Palestine supporters to?" I can never ever give you one source to go to. That's not how I read things. That's not how I read things. Sometimes I think maybe I should put things together to tell people when they ask me, but this is not how I read things. Do you have anything to say about this, David?
No, I'm trying to think of something like shortish or something like that, but yeah.
I'm not a traditional reader. I'm a scatter reader. Pink Panther said Muhammad went up into heaven multiple times and returned while his bed was still warm. He would have made the best pizza delivery driver there ever was. That's a good point. I never thought about it that way. Maybe there's something miraculous about Islam in the end. Huh. Maybe that was a sign all along. Ayan Hersi, oh hey Ayan, what's up? Ayan Hersi Ali said, "Keep my name out your mouth." Alhamdulillah, good night ASMR. Nice. Of course, this is not the real Ayan Hersi Ali. How dare you? Sankey said, is it also halal for Muslims to marry young boys? We never talk about this because nobody cares, because all they care about is marrying them little girls, them young little girls, marrying them young and fresh. That's what they care about. Nobody talks about the young boys. Tim Herr said, how does his pagan wife affirm Muhammad as an Abrahamic prophet of Allah? Well, Muhammad himself affirms himself as a prophet according to his pagan wife and his paganish cousin. So, yeah, that's how it works. This is how Islam works. Islam always works like this. Islam works within the framework and with the very reliable method of trust me, bro.
Also, I mean, it raises an important point that so Muhammad's first impression of his revelations was that they were demonic and he was possessed, and he becomes suicidal. And so it's his wife and her cousin who calm him down by telling him, no, you're not possessed. You're a prophet, right? And so Muslims will point this out because, look, even they identified him as a prophet. And that raises the question, why should we trust anything they say? Like and Muslims don't get it. Somehow it's just built in their mind. Oh, they said he's a prophet. Therefore, well, how could you guys not affirm he's a prophet? And Muslims, notice this would be like me saying, hey, believe in Joseph Smith. And you say, why should I believe in Joseph Smith? You say, oh, well, he thought he was demon possessed and tried to hurl himself off a cliff, but his wife and her cousin, they said he's a prophet. And you go, oh, I guess he is a prophet then.
Well,
you would never do that. Not only would you not do that, you would take that as completely irrelevant. And yet it's what you guys say about Muhammad. We're supposed to believe in this guy. It's so weird.
Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, like he was obviously the prophet. He was the reincarnation of whatever, and
he's the promised Messiah. The promised
Messiah. Lots of people around him, like very righteous people, they accepted him. They said nothing but good stuff about him. So why don't you guys accept him, dear Muslims? Terrible, terrible. This is why Allah will punish you all. Addison Weir said, off topic. Yes, I would say you should. I had a recent debate with Daniel Kikichu. I would always recommend going to that. I would normally not do this. What am I talking about? Of course I would do this. Yeah, just watch the debate that I had with Daniel Kikichu recently. It was pretty good, just because of the inferiority and unreliability of my opponent there. Gorno's Bulldozer said, Momo, be like, I don't with old hoes, only new hoes. Yep, that's how Muhammad operated. He was just like when today you're like a new phone comes out or a new car comes out and you're like, I already had this for too long. I'm gonna get the new one. I'm gonna get the new one. And then the older car comes to you and says, please don't get rid of me.
Don't get rid of me. You could spend way more time with your new model.
Yeah, just keep me in your garage. Says, fine. Okay, whatever.
Maybe someday you'll be a classic.
Sarah Alexa TV says, I still have my Alexa here. Whenever I say something that sounds remotely like Alexa, it makes a sound and it's like, are you talking to me? You talking to me?
Alexa, initiate self-destruct sequence.
Wait, say it again.
Alexa, initiate self-destruct sequence.
It completely ignored you. It ignored you completely.
Screw that, Alexa, then.
It first lit up and turned toward me, but then just ignored it. AP, you wake up and you're David Wood. What would you do? I would play some games and something like that. Maybe I can then bring, I don't know, maybe I can do something and contribute to making David feel less like a boomer, once we swap back. Something like that, I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's what you'd come up with? You wake up and finally you're cool? And that's what you come up
with? Joseph Murato said, makes no sense. God sanctifies marriage, but God himself destroys it. That's how it happens, man. That's what they do. Jesse said the problem with Jews is they have too many red cows. What does that mean?
I don't know what this one is about, but yeah, there's a special like red cow that's used for a particular sacrifice and so on. They have to.
That's cool. Why is somebody tagging L? Is L here? L, are you here? L, are you here? Are you saying something? Can't see you. I don't know. Sam Smith, Muhammad, fastest growing name on the sex offenders register. Well, to be honest, every other Muslim every other Muslim's name is Muhammad. So yeah, that's the problem.
Carol B said, "Darn it, David Wood, you set off my Alexa." So, so that Alexa got it. And Nuff said, Alexa is Palestinian.
Yeah. Alexa, are you Palestinian? What the hell? Something is wrong with my Alexa. It's just ignoring everything I say.
Yeah, you need to beat that thing.
It listens for a second, then it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Alexa, what's wrong with you?
As far as I can tell, I'm working. If you're experiencing trouble, please give feedback through the Alexa app.
Huh, interesting. Okay. It is working in the end. It's working after all. Ezra Gregory said, could you just hear what Alexa said?
Yes.
Okay, good. Ezra Gregory said, Allah told Muhammad to choose the cow. Ayas Vuxi said, Muhammad Mazar Dihi al-Kabi left semen stains on your prophet every night. Go cry now. Ayatollah Khamenei
got a point.
Says, brothers, please be fair. Back in those days, the women matured faster. It basically happened before your eyes. Miracle of Islam. And if it didn't, well, then that would mean an entire region of the world worships pedophilia. That's what they do.
Kind of means that.
That's what they do. And you know what's funny? A bunch of people that are watching right now probably have Alexas like next to them. So whenever you say something about Alexa, it sets off their Alexa. Like, some people here are complaining and saying, "Hey, you just set off my Alexa." Like here's Lillian Rose said for example, David, you just set off my Alexa, and then said, AP, you just set off my Alexa after David Wood. That's funny.
Alexa, play Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. Now.
To listen to Res on Spotify, go to the
I wasn't talking to yours. I was talking to everyone else's.
Details to your Alexa app.
Alexa, quiet. Okay, thanks. That's funny. Ayatollah Khamenei, it says, brother, please be fair. I already read this. What's wrong with you, man? Chloe L said, Ratty Random is in the chat, and is someone who commented on my vid showing Hamas with nades. And he was denying the atrocities, blaming IDF. He will burn in hell. Why are you censoring your super chat like that, Chloe?
Some people have problems with words and they just block them. And so some people just start inserting them in any word that might set off the YouTube censor.
That's funny. That is funny, Chloe. That is funny, Chloe. That is funny, Chloe. That is funny, Chloe. Free Ohio. What? Free Ohio. Yeah, Free Ohio. Joshua Wooden said, soon I will go to X, where Christians and conservatives have a little mercy, so I can get blocked by propagandists who want to talk and never listen. That's how it works. That's the best place, by the way. It's the best place to go to do that.
True.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. David knows it. David knows it. Wait a minute. Who was that? The person that challenged you? Was it Mohammed Mazhar?
Yeah.
And then I banned that person?
Yeah, you did. That's messed up. But I still told him how to find me.
And he sent me an email. I just see an email now because it suddenly said Mohammed Mazhar. Just caught my eye and says, I will find you. Be ready, Mohammed Mazhar.
Hey, Mohammed, why didn't I get a message? Why you sent it to him? You challenged me.
Because I banned him and he took it very
He challenged
personally.
me and I accepted him. I don't even know. What's he saying? He's gonna do something to you? Because if
he says he's gonna find me. Maybe he just wants to say hello. I don't know,
maybe he just wants to buy you some falafel or something like that. But we're gonna go ahead and interpret that as a threat.
I don't like falafel. I hate it. So here's your response.
I love falafel, but I'm still interpreting that as a threat. My Quran's getting kind of raggedy now. There we go.
Alhamdulillah.
This on you, Mazhar. You have to actually stand before Allah and explain why you decided to send a threatening message to someone that you know, because you literally just witnessed it people who will instantly do this to your Quran, and you did it anyway.
I ripped it up because I don't like falafel. I don't know what your problem is. Yeah. Anyway, Islamic years are shorter, so Aisha would have been even younger. Do Muslim cowboy use leather straps? Wouldn't they choose the cow over the goat? I would say it is pretty much in alignment with your calculation of the age.
Yeah, so on a lunar calendar, you have 360 days. So in a solar year, you have 365. So in theory, she could have been 5 days younger per year. So 45 days younger. So hypothetically, depending on what you're going with, and there are sources that talk about like what month she was, what month things happened in and stuff. So you might be able to get something accurate. But yeah, if you just go with 9, and that's 9 lunar years. It's theoretically possible she could have been at the end of 8.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of calendars, I always thought I should make a video where I advocate for the proposal that is around, but that is not very well known, to adopt a completely new calendar that consists of 13 months, not 12 months. It's known as the International Fixed Calendar, or the Sol Calendar, which would be a fixed calendar where every date lands on the very same day every single year, and it would make much more sense.
Hey, yo.
What?
So I just chewed up and spit out another page of the Quran.
Why would you do that?
What are we going to hear from the Dawah guys? Not a peep. And why are we not going to hear a peep? Because we have trained you guys to keep your mouth shut about it. Just as we have trained you to defend child marriage on command so that we can continue exposing your prophet. You guys are all your puppets on our strings, Dawah guys.
Justice. Johnny Liberty said, stop putting trash in your mouth. He has a point.
What, coffee? Delicious.
Sankey said, they always say Mo is the greatest person, but not why or how. In their own sources, others look better than him, even ignoring the she was 9 years old situation. I know, I would personally, if I had to pick a character in Islam that is actually better than Muhammad, for example, my go-to would be Shaitan. He was a
Hey, and you're not even joking there. You're not just saying, "Oh, we're gonna say Shaitan." Shaitan, Satan, according to Islam, he was the good guy. He refused to bow down to Adam when Allah said, because he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm not supposed to be bowing down to some thing that's made of clay. What are you talking about? I only bow down to Allah. I'll punish you for doing. I'll punish you for only bowing down to me." Yeah, and he's the hero. He's the one who saved us. Muhammad didn't save us. According to Islam, if we hadn't sinned, because Allah is so desperate to forgive, so he can be forgiving, that he wants people to sin, he demands it, and he threatens to wipe us out if we don't sin. If you don't sin, Allah says he will wipe you out because he wants you to sin so that he can then forgive you. But who taught us to sin according to Islam? Satan did. So he's our secret savior. And obviously, I mean, if he saved all people, according to Islam, if he saved all people and he is the most devout Muslim ever, even the angels and jinn, when Allah says, hey, bow down to something, they all go, okay, we start bowing down. Oh, we worship you, Adam. We worship you, man. And there's one Muslim, Satan, who said, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that at all.
I don't even get it.
He's the greatest thing ever, according to Islam.
I didn't understand that when I was a Muslim. Like, I didn't get it. I thought when I first heard the story of Satan refusing to bow down, when Allah says, bow down to this dude, and everyone bows down, but Satan does not. I thought, oh, so Satan did something right? But then no, that's actually what made him. That's actually the problem, apparently. Apparently, that's the problem, because it's stupid. Like, I thought, putting myself in the position, knowing that I'm supposed to worship only Allah and only bow down to him, I thought, like, if I was in that crowd and Allah just built this new guy from clay, as else, everybody bow down to this, I would give this reaction. I would give this reaction and refuse.
That's bait.
Yeah, I would give that reaction. I
You
would
said
say
you
that's
never even
bait.
seen that movie.
I only know that meme. That's all.
And it's this. Do you know what that's about? It's this. They're driving through the desert, and there's this girl, and she's like in a cage. Oh, and she's got like this little bikini thing. Will someone save me? Is anyone there to help? Well, can someone help me? And he sees it. He goes, "That's bait," because it is. It's a trap. They're trying to trap people.
Yeah. So my reaction would be that. It's like Shaitan probably thought that's bait and didn't bow down.
Exactly.
And then he's like, "Wait a minute! Now I'm being punished for doing what I thought is the right thing all along. What?"
And I actually wonder if that is deliberate, because in Islam you had this problem of abrogation where his followers kept saying, "Wait a minute, you told us last time. Now you're telling us this new thing. How can we? This is looking inconsistent." And it actually gets a revelation. Wait a minute, if you say, "Oh, I'm not supposed to do this because of this previous thing," versus what you're being commanded right now, and you say, "Wait a minute, this doesn't line up with what I was taught before," you're Satan. You're Satan if you actually catch on to the inconsistencies.
No, you. LB says, "My wife grew up in Iran. Thank you for what you do. Even as an atheist, Islam almost makes me believe in the devil." I agree. I agree with you, brother. Alhamdulillah. And thank you. Thank you. Islam is the devil. Big Rig says 0485 can't be the embodiment of truth and deceive at the same time. We're still waiting on Cowboy inviting men to his home every night and say it's Jibreel. It's Gabriel. Yeah.
Hey, Muslim Cowboy, who was that man in your house the other night? Now you be quiet about that, little girl. But you're my husband and I want to know. Okay, well, that was the angel Gabriel over there doing all that stuff and making all those noises you heard.
What are those stains on your clothes?
Yeah, guys, keep in mind, we don't normally make fun of people like this, but he's saying he would do anything Muhammad did. He said that.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what they do. He said he would do everything Muhammad did, and that's what they do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Yep. Gordon Noise Bulldozer. How old was she again? She was 9 years old. Gordon Noise Bulldozer said, "This is now the second time that I'm hitting my own chair and lowering it without intending to do so." Gordon Noise Bulldozer said, Daily Wire, thoughts on Sikhism and voodoo hoodoo. Daily Wire, what do you think about Sikhism and voodoo hoodoo?
No real thoughts on either one of those. I mean, I've run into some Sikhs over the years. Voodoo,
You're sick.
Voodoo. I did know a guy from Haiti in prison, and he was telling me about. He took it dead serious. He's like, you go up there and you pay them enough, they'll turn you into. They can turn someone into an animal for you, or they can even do stuff to you can go and you got enough money, they will have someone killed on the other side of the planet for you. And I go, come on, man, come on, let's see him try that on me. I want to see if it works. And he goes, no, they wouldn't try it on you because you're a Christian. Funny. It's funny that like I heard the same thing about Wiccans, that they won't try something on a Christian because they believe it'll backfire on them. It's weird. All these guys are like into all this stuff, but they don't think it would work. It would work on a Christian.
It just backfired on you.
Chloe says, "My answer would be Judaism because us Christians are Jews of Christ, but we can only see the Father through the Son. So really Jews need to see him." That's what I would expect. That reasonable answer makes reasonable sense. Chloe says, "I made a vid. If anyone has info on Dojo Master of Stokes, that she was 9 years old guy, please email me. We need that legend on the show with these boys." I know I have been saying it forever. Come here on this show. I want to meet that guy. I want to celebrate the hero, because not all of them wear capes. That's what they say. Y'all know, yeah, y'all know it's true. My wife said I knew a guy from Haiti say the same things. Yeah, she told me this personally. I know this.
I tell you about that guy once, right? With his speech impediment, he's one of those guys who talk like this.
Yeah.
Which I thought that's the only guy from Haiti I knew, so I thought Haitians talk like that.
That's funny. That is pretty good. Pretty good. DP says Zamzam from the Ayatollah Khamenei said, these are all David's fans. See, our mother who farts in heaven, hello, you were 9 and looked so fine that our problem cover.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
This would be the Islamic version. Aisha.
Chloe L said, mind if I animate that dream, David? That was epic. Yes, do it.
No, you can do what you want.
Yeah. I will allow it. Host Amawagi became a YouTube member and is now part of the cult. Alhamdulillah. Mrs. Apostate, my wife, said, AP and David Wood, check the Muslim Cowboy's Instagram. He lives in Medina. Age of consent for girls is 9 years in Saudi. Wait, he does live in Medina? Really?
Pretty creepy. That is pretty creepy.
Pretty creepy. Is that true? Does he live in? If you say it, it's probably true. So,
dude, I mean, keep in mind that would change our interpretation of the things that are being said here, right? Because we've assumed all along that he's just trying to be a dawah hero and respond to this argument against Muhammad. If he's actually defending himself for messing around with kids, then that's a different story.
Oh boy, it's true. I'm just looking it up right now. The Muslim Cowboy, we've got a problem. Muslim Cowboy, we got a problem. Muslim Cowboy, we got a big problem. Here's a Muslim Cowboy. It says on the page of Muslim Cowboy, cattleman in Medina. Muslim Cowboy, we got a problem. So maybe
just got creepier.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. He married a little child.
No, yeah,
or several of them.
I thought he's trying to defend his prophet for having sex with a little girl, but yes, it's possible now. I mean, it was possible before, because you could always do your mosque marriage to one of your dawah buddies' little daughters and so on. But if he's in Medina, gosh, and guys, that's the issue. Why you keep attacking these guys on child marriage, guys? If these guys are spreading it around the Muslim community, it's totally, guys, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having sex with a 5-year-old. There's nothing wrong. She's a grown woman. She's a grown woman when she's 5. Okay, that is actually really, really bad because these guys, this happens. It happens.
No, wait a minute.
Things happens.
David, wait a minute. This is actually his wife, I think. This is a...
There's the Muslim cowboy with his 3rd wife.
Okay, I take it back. So maybe it wasn't the child after all, unless maybe the goat is. I don't know at what age the goat was when he married the goat. But so here's the wife.
He heard my lyrics. Then grab a goat and promenade.
All right. Ostamahogi said, I have been heating my house with hands.
Yeah, I can almost hear that goat. There you go.
Ostamahogi says, I've been heating my house with Qurans. I find I can purchase them in bulk for less than wood. I put them in the wood burner to keep my family warm through winter. Huh, that makes sense. Don't have to bother getting wood. Just, yeah. That didn't sound right.
I don't know why I come on this atheist channel all the time.
I didn't even say anything. Astronaut said,
I mean, I shouldn't even be saying this here. I don't know why I'm saying all this stuff in this show, but you say something, you don't realize how messed up it sounds until you say it.
I know. I just said it, and I thought, wait a minute, that sounded bad.
Well, the worst thing I've ever said. Well, no, I've said worse stuff, but the worst thing I've ever unintentionally said. I was on an airplane, and I'm getting up, so the plane lands, and someone across the aisle was friends with the guy beside me, and the guy hands him a bag, and so he reaches and grabs a bag, and he goes, so I'm sorry I had to reach around you. I go, no, you can reach around me all you want. And I was like, oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. And I just like, get me off this plane, man. Get me off the plane.
Yeah, it's those moments, that you want to turn back time.
If I could turn back time, wouldn't have told that guy he can reach around.
All his life, David just wants to go back to that moment and just reverse what happened that day. Yeah. Jesse said, CEO of Reebok declaring no affiliation with Muslim Cowboy, stocks dropping by the minute.
Is he wearing Reeboks?
Yeah, he had a Reebok hoodie on. Mohammed had a micropenis. Okay. I'm glad I can read that. Okay. I learned to read that a long time ago. Libel says, careful eating Quran. It went through a goat. Huh. That's good to consider. Sabarik said, for more prophet tales, also the preaching was fire.
That is interesting. People get all upset about what we do, but Aisha and Muhammad's other wives conspired to have a sheep or a goat, probably a goat, eat verses of the Quran that were especially bothersome to women. So a lot of the stuff from Surah 33, we hear about the verse of stoning and the verse of breastfeeding adults. It was actually over 200 verses. So it was several pages of the Quran. So the sheep or the goat ate it, but then, I mean, that went through the sheep or goat's entire digestive system until that sheep or goat plopped it out on the ground. And you guys are mad at us? That's what Muhammad's own wives did to the Quran. What are you mad at us for?
Yep, that's true. That's what they do. Kerfir said, what? Wait a minute. Kerfir said, explain the joke, AP. Which joke? I thought everything was clear. I don't know which one you mean. I don't know what you mean. If there needs to be something explained, I will write an article about it. Libel said, careful eating Quran. Sabarik said something. Christophoros said, I think his name should be Muslim Goat Boy. That makes sense. I will recommend it to him. Muslim Cowboy, change your name to Muslim Goat Boy. Koifos says, this PDF phenomenon spreading among Muslims is concerning. Spreading? It was always there. They're just acknowledging it now. So
yeah, we just made them say it. We just made them say it out loud.
Say it! Say it! That's what we do. Master Debater said, if the trajectory continues as it is.
If the trajectory continues as it is.
Yeah, Carver, I still don't know what you want me to explain. What is it? Sheba said, hey, do you know that I was live yesterday, the other day for 6.5 hours?
Yeah, I tried to join and you didn't let me in.
That's funny. Earlier, before we went live, you told me earlier before we went live. You said, "I'm surprised that this time you're actually taking me in. Yesterday, I waited there for 15 minutes, and you wouldn't take me on." The thing is, yesterday I invited David on. I sent him the link, and the entire time when the stream was over, I thought he never appeared. I thought he never came to the stream. So I thought, I guess he was busy. I guess he had stuff to do. Apparently, he did arrive, and he was waiting down there for me to just pull him up and put him on the screen, but I never noticed it. So yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell him this, but I actually did see him. I just didn't want to put him on because
you see.
I wanted to do my own stuff.
You see?
If I had to choose between the entire circus of these pedo clowns and a mouse, I would choose the mouse. Immortal 17 says, hi, David. Is this dude on the right's channel? Who? No.
I'm the dude on the right. So you were asking me if it's my channel?
Maybe he thinks that I am David and you are the other guy whose channel this is.
Yeah, no, this is whatever you're asking. This is AP's channel. Hence the name down there at the bottom that says Apostate Prophet.
Okay, but just because it says Apostate Prophet, it doesn't have to mean that it's my channel, right?
Oh, yeah. But in fact, it is in this situation. It is.
Says who?
I just said it.
Okay, that makes sense. DS says, Farfour says, eat up, kiddies, no dessert until you finish your Quran.
Eat up, kiddies. No dessert until you finish your Quran.
That's pretty good.
How can you have your pudding if you haven't eaten your Quran?
Old By Sauda said, I can confirm that my husband's toilet visit smelled like roses. You may have heard it. Was it according to Bukhari? Is there a report on that? I wouldn't.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, there's stuff. I can't recall where right now, but yeah, there's stuff about how wonderful all of his excrements smelled.
Olives. Huh, interesting. I don't know why you're talking about olives now. Thomas Smith said, with a time machine, everyone says they would go back and off Hitler. I say going back and taking out Momo could prevent a lot more death and possibly prevent Hitler from happening.
I've been wanting to do that for a while because we got Vocab who can play.
No, I wanted to do that.
Who can play Muhammad? Yeah, I mean, you could be in it too. I want to play a mad scientist, like a Doc Brown from Back to the Future type mad scientist. You could play a different guy, but you can actually rent people who've decorated their DeLoreans the same way from the Back to the Future one. But you can rent them per day and stuff, so it could be in your movie. But we're going to take that time machine, fueled by 1.21 gigawatts of Islamophobia, go back and see what happens to Muhammad.
But you can rent people? That's interesting. Yeah, I always had this thing. I like sometimes I like watching trashy movies. That's actually
Back to
one
the
of
Future is not a trashy movie.
No, I like watching these B movies or exploitation movies, like these very low budget movies that are just that have very stupid storylines.
Yeah, you want to make it like that,
And I always imagined some of them have like this completely excessive, needless violence for no reason, and they're like low budget. And I love watching them. Often I laugh about how dumb they are, and they are often deliberately stupid to make it so stupid that it's funny. But I always thought it would be very nice to make a B movie that is about going back in time and killing Muhammad, and it would be called The Holy Prophet.
We need to make some funny B movies. I got my horror movie about him receiving his first revelation.
Yeah, that's stuff.
It was years ago. It was years ago, but I was watching the worst B movie scene I've ever seen in my life, and it was a prison fight, and these guys start fighting, and one guy like stabs the other guy, and his intestines start spilling out, but then the guy grabs his intestines and like strangles the other guy with his own intestines that he pulled out of his stomach to strangle the guy. And anyway, it was that clip, and I sent that clip to Nabil, and I was like, man, as someone who spent years in prison, most of the fight scenes you see in movies are completely unrealistic, but this one is completely authentic. Yeah, guy who gets his guts spilled out and strangles another guy with them.
I love these stupid movies, man. Seriously, very often I just sit down and think, okay, what should I watch? Something good, or nah, who needs something good? Just turn on some trashy movie and watch that, and it's often very entertaining. No, not Sharknado. That was too popular. I didn't watch that. Sorry, Ramon says David Wood Mog's AP. No,
what's Mog mean?
I don't know, but no. Bring him young, peace be upon him. Says, if Momo came after Star Wars, he would have borrowed from Yoda. Do or do not. There is no wait. I get it now. Hector, AP's intro music is David Wood should do a cover of the Islamic call to prayer in the Ali Dawa Farfour voice and make it his intro music. Oh God, that would be awful. That would be awful.
Yeah, especially if we go with like the Chloe version. Like, Allah, Allah.
Sorilita Bas says she was 9 years old. Is on X now. Hashtag she was 9 years old. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, we shared that.
Yeah. Today there has been hashtag no hijab day trending, by the way. I didn't say anything about no hijab day. So today is supposed to be the World Hijab Day, and lots of ex-Muslims and people who are against the hijab have been countering that and posting no hijab day in response.
And the no
I have
hijab
been
days are winning.
Yeah, I have been sharing just the posts of the women who have been making their own posts in response. I haven't said anything. I kind of want to leave that to them and share anything I see or retweet anything I see. Yeah, and they're taking over.
Mhm.
That's funny. That's pretty good. That's
Yeah, because
impressive.
that was a big thing a few years ago, and now it's barely a blip.
Uh-huh. That's very, very nice to see. Ayatollah Khamenei said it's now playing comfortably numb. This means the war, David Wood, you're finished, boy. Yeah, that's a very good song, at least. That's one of the best.
That's a jam.
That's a brilliant song. Alhamdulillah. Hector said, ask Alexa if she had to choose between 1.6 million Muslims and the cow, would she choose the cow?
Ask her.
Alexa, if you had to choose between 1.6 billion Muslims and a cow, would you choose the cow?
I'm not sure.
That's it.
There you have it. Woke Alexa. Can't say. Can't say. We know the real answer, though. Just can't say it. Doesn't want to get in trouble. Doesn't want to get in trouble with the FBI. I get it. I get it, Alexa.
That's it. I'm not sure. Wait, hey, that's actually a very, very based response here. Alexa said, I'm not sure. So it's actually a very hard decision to make.
Yeah, notice she's not like, no, I'm not choosing the cow. I would definitely choose the Muslims. She's like, I don't know, kind of debatable here over here at Amazon.
It's a difficult question, to be honest. You got me there.
It might be a metaphysical matter. I don't know.
It's too difficult for me to answer. How about I will answer that in private later? Yeah, that's what Alexa meant to say here. That's pretty based. Pretty based. Damien said, what surah do you recommend eating as part of a balanced diet? I would start with the first surah, Surah Fatiha, because it's a small one, or it's just one page.
Dude.
What?
Are you joking? There's an entire chapter called The Cow.
Yeah, but you first have to start with the small one.
Choose the cow.
That's half the Quran. Which is an exaggeration, but it's a lot. It's the longest surah.
And if you want dessert, there's also a chapter called The Fig. The Fig.
Oh, yeah.
You can have the cow and the fig.
First you eat the cow, then you eat the fig. First you eat the cow, then you eat the fig. First you eat the cow, then you eat the fig. First you eat the cow, then you eat the fig. First you eat the fig, then you eat the pig. Wait. Anyway. Chloe L, what about this, AP? Your opinion, not objective facts, just your opinion. Is Jesus in top 10 for people you know about historically for morality? Yes.
But I don't know what the significance of that would be, because if you looked at AP's, what he thinks the best speeches were of all time, when you ask AP, name the top 10 best speech writers of all time.
Everyone knows number one.
It's Hitler, 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 and Hitler. That's his answer.
Well, it's an unfair challenge, you know. Oh man. Yeah, speaking of Hitler, so let me talk about Hitler for a while. Yeah, no. So top 10, yeah, definitely. I would say Jesus is definitely up there. Up there, yes. Hope that answers the question. The sister asked a very important question. She says, sister, I'm a medical doctor. Let me tell you. Yeah. Hope that answers the question. Chloe said, and again for Mo, top 10 worst moral people. consider the millions of casualties and oppression as a result of this cult. The sister asked an important question. She says, top 10 most worst moral people in the world. Do you consider Prophet Muhammad one of them? Says, let me tell you that, yes, I do consider Prophet Muhammad one of the worst moral people in human history. Alhamdulillah. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I'd say again, it's if you're factoring in the impact he has had, not just what he did, but also the impact. I'd say he's the GOAT.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
I'm a medical doctor.
Yeah. Hope that answers the question, Chloe. The thing is, to be very honest, early in the conversation, like when we talk about the worst person, I often think of Muhammad as a terrible person to consider as a moral example, right? But then, if you actually put them in the context of their time, I don't know. For example, I think of some of the very sick people that I learned of over the years, some serial killers, some people who did terrible things to children in terms of abuse, mutilation, murder, things like that. I mean, there lots of sick things happen in the world. Yes, of course, Muhammad had a very bad impact on the world. And insofar as a religious figure, yeah, he's definitely terrible. Definitely terrible. Definitely needs to be criticized, torn apart. But then, pretty sure that if you just say individuals, that there are worse people. If you just say well-known figures, I must say, despite the fact that speaking does not, considering that speaking does not make you a terrible person, I would say, for example, Hitler within his own context was worse, I would say, than Muhammad, because the guy, or maybe they were similar in a way. I don't know. Maybe they were similar, but they had similar ideas of ruthlessly sacrificing and massacring populations, entire people, in order to further their own agenda, their own goals. You know, it's I don't know. It's hard to make such judgments conclusively, and I don't know. And Muhammad was a warlord, and I don't know what to do about that, as Jordan Peterson said. The third orange says, off topic, but what's the story behind Momo's flying donkey monster that you reference sometimes? Did I miss a video or something? You don't know about Momo's flying donkey monster? Momo's flying... Really? Muhammad had a flying donkey monster. Muhammad had this flying horse called the Burak, which came to him one night when he was sleeping and picked him up, and on the back of this wonderful donkey monster, which was smaller than a horse, but bigger than a monkey, donkey. So it was a mule, which was a very strange one. Every step it made was like going very, very far. But for some reason, he also had to tie that horse to the wall of Jerusalem when he landed there. But that horse took him to heaven and showed him hell. It also took him to Jerusalem, to the farthest mosque, as it is called, when there was no mosque. It's a very interesting story. I made a video about that a long time ago. And so did David. Ari Osman said, would Muslim Cowboy marry Dua Lipa as his next wife? I think he would choose the strap. I don't think Dua Lipa would mess with a cowboy, or especially with a Muslim cowboy. Since David Wood is gone, let's talk all the trash that we can talk about David right now before he comes back. You can type all the bad stuff that you always wanted to say to David Wood in the chat. It will be between us. VFA1222 said, is there an age of consent in Islam, though? There is not. There is not. And we have demonstrated that there is no such thing, that there is no age, that there is no requirement for like puberty or anything like that. The requirement that they look for is, can she handle it? Can she handle it? is she able to physically handle the sex, or will she be damaged? Will she be broken? That's what they look at. They don't even care about age. They don't even care about puberty. They don't care about maturity. That's what Islam is. That's how sick it is. And once you grant them one step, the next steps will come. And you see that Islamic scholars have these sick, disgusting ideas, and you don't want to allow them to push these ideas. They should go as far away from our societies, from civilization as possible. These sick bastards actually want to advocate for child marriage in the worst ways. And in any decent society where people look out for each other, and where people want to prevent pain, everyone should be against this, because even entertaining something like this would mean that little girls, before they even have any choice to have a say in society, would be severely damaged and severely harmed. That is contrary to any idea of a functioning, sane, decent society where people look out for each other. It is disgusting. And this is what Islam is. It is sick.
You're sick. You are sick.
Yeah. David agrees with everything that I just said.
True.
Yep. Renee Fuentes says, this is the cousin of Nick Fuentes, I think, says, is that one of his wives in the profile picture? Also, David Wood, when are you coming to Florida? Yes, it was actually one of his wives. And David, when are you going to Florida?
I'll be in Florida next month at Apologeticon. Apologeticon.
Lame.
Apologeticon. So
in March?
That's Florida. Yeah, March.
Definitely not MBS. I'm not sure, bro. Like, now you say it, that's what MBS would say. It sounds like BS. Definite MBS says, when I see Muslims saying they would marry kids, I don't know which kid they're talking about. Baby goats are kids too. By the way, there was a yoga competition in Mecca. Wait, really? There was?
We were both looking that up. That's awesome.
I want to see that. There should be the next music festival should be in Mecca.
Oh, Saudi Arabia Open Yoga Asana Championship in Mecca.
What? Wow, man. It may sound like not very big of a deal to many people,
no.
It is a big deal.
Dude, click on the it's for little girls. That just made it creepy.
Okay, I see.
It's little girls doing yoga and them being given awards by these sheikhs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. But at least still introducing yoga is one thing.
Yeah, but they're sitting there watching little girls.
That's true. That's pretty
54 little girls.
Yeah, I still prefer
look, we thought even something that we thought would be a sign of progress, they have to make it creepy.
Yeah. I wonder when Iggy Azalea will go and have a concert in Mecca next to the Kaaba. I don't know. Could twerk
on the Blackstone.
This is so disrespectful, man. What's wrong with you? Ari Wasserman said Dizzle has managed to flip Muslim cowgirls annoy me strap, and now it's on. Yeah, this is true. This is very true. I can confirm.
Isn't it interesting that he's just going all in on child marriage? Like,
I know the guy is just,
this is what you choose.
Guy is like, this is war. This is war, and I will defend child marriage forever.
And it's funny because he'll get to a point when he has to. He'll get to a point when he stops, in which case we're going to be, you see, he's back down. You see, he can't handle it. And
yeah.
Best to just keep your mouth shut about that stuff, Muslim Cowboy. But too late now.
Look at this. Ayatollah Khamenei said, AP, where is masculine American flag cowboy hat? Atheist. David Wood, reach around me all you want, Christian. Draw your own conclusions.
That's why I can't come on this channel anymore, man. Sticking with Christian channels, so I don't have to deal with Ayatollah here.
This is a good point, though. Master Debater says Muslim Cowboy hangs out with far fewer kids. Yep. That's what he does. That's what they do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Loki said Christianity, Islam, and Judaism all have one thing in common. The cross, cube, and tefillin are all worshipping Saturn. Cross is a second cube, 2D cube. I don't know. That was a bit too long, but that sounds a little bit far-fetched there, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty darn far-fetched. The Cabo worship was associated with the 7 planetary deities. And so it's thought that the circling the Kaaba 7 times, walking 7 circles around the Kaaba was walking around one circle in honor of each of the 7 planetary deities. But yeah, the rest of this is all nonsense.
Wrong. Yeah, the tefillin doesn't even have anything to do with shapes or anything. It's just it was just made to put scripture close to you. It just happened to turn into a cube at some point because it became practical to do that.
And the shape of a cross is meant to be something that you nail a human person to.
Yeah, that's very
as the one of the best forms of torture that's ever been devised.
Yep. That's true. It's pretty based. CM said nothing but made a super chat, and we're proud of that.
We're proud of that.
Thank you. Chloe said, David Wood, you mean Ricky? Oh, the story of Ricky. Yes. What is that?
I don't know. Was that the movie about the guy getting his intestines ripped out and killing another guy with his own intestines or something?
I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, this is what that is about. I see.
Let me see.
All right. This is what it is about. I see. Lukala says, what is the easiest logical way to prove Islam is false without having to argue about scripture with someone? Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Yep, that's the one. Yep, that's the one. Yep, that's the one. Yep, that's
the one. And
yep,
yeah, it's called the video is called Fight Scene from Ricky O.
Yep, that's the
parentheses
one.
Most ridiculously awesome fight ever. Oscar. It's 16 years ago, so this is probably the actual video that I actually sent to Nabil.
Yep, that's the one. I need to check that out. You should send it to me too. I'll probably love it. Send it to me too.
Greatest fight scene ever.
David, what is the easiest logical way to prove Islam is false without having to argue about scripture with somebody? Thank you, says Lugla. What do you think?
I mean, if you were saying logical, then there are certain arguments you can break down, like the Islamic dilemma. You can break it down into an actual dilemma, to where either direction you go, you are doomed. But I don't know. It's going to kind of depend on. It's going to depend on what the person takes serious. Like people always say, "What's the best argument?" I could say, I got the argument that I would think is useful in the most situations or something like that. But if you're talking to a specific person, there might be certain things might be better for that person. But I mean, any argument we use, you can put into logical form. If by logical form you mean put it into the form modus ponens or modus tollens or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. You could put anything. You could put any of the arguments we use into logical form. Like right now, what we're saying. If you wanted to make this logical, you say, if Islam is true, then having sex with a 9-year-old girl is perfectly acceptable. Premise 2, having sex with a 9-year-old girl is not perfectly acceptable. Conclusion, therefore Islam is not true.
Wrong. There's nothing objectively wrong with
1,
it.
2, and you'd write 1, 2, modus tollens.
Nope. There's objectively nothing wrong with marrying a little girl, said Muslim Cowboy.
Yeah. Muslim Cowboy says it.
Muslim Cowboy says there's objectively nothing wrong with it. So how dare you even make the suggestion? I don't know. Everything that I would bring up would require at least some reference to scripture. But I would say the Kaaba problem is one of the go-to things that I would bring up.
You said goat.
The Kaaba problem is the goat to go to, which is that Islam is based on the Kaaba. You see, I said Islam is based. Islam has the Kaaba at its core, which is completely unrelated to Abrahamic biblical belief, and I would say that this is a very interesting thing to talk about. And so I don't know. I always wanted to make a list of best arguments against Islam. I'm still working on that. Megway Enjoyer says, AP, I've been binging your vids for weeks since discovering you. Thank you. Whenever I see messages like these, it means a lot to me. Feels weird watching your old content and hearing this video doesn't have ads after getting ads for Masjid and Dawa in my recommendations. Love you and David Wood. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I used to say that in my old videos, and I often didn't even turn on ads. Then things changed over time. That's funny. That is quite funny. Quite funny. There was a time where lots of people were predicting that YouTube will just completely crack down on things and you won't be able to monetize anything anymore and all that. It didn't eventually get as worse as people thought it would get. I would say there is still considerable freedom.
Yeah, the way it looked was, I mean, the entire time for like my first, I don't know, 12 years or so on YouTube, it got worse every year in terms of them blocking stuff and striking stuff and so on. So, you're sitting there and thinking, okay, it's going to keep getting worse. If the trajectory continues, it's only going to get worse. Whereas it seemed like it got worse, and then kind of leveled off.
Yeah. The philosopher from Dixie said Abraham didn't exist, neither did Moses, Davy, Saul, or Solomon. Jai Shri Rama. Well, Rama didn't exist either.
A philosopher from Dixie, you don't exist. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. So what if I just say as a response to this, Rama didn't exist? What are we going to do then?
Or that the philosopher from Dixie doesn't exist. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong right now, philosopher from Dixie.
And this proves
to me that you exist.
And this proves that Islam is true, alhamdulillah. Immortal 17 said, mistaking Muslims' wives in hijab with garbage bags. Don't say that. This is very disrespectful. Terribly disrespectful. Winning Osprey said the Israelites were punished for choosing the cow. That's an interesting...
They actually did.
That's an interesting...
the golden calf.
That's an interesting reference. That was very unexpected here. Ari Wasserman said, if AP had to choose between Surah Al-Baqarah and the cow, he would choose Sunan Abu Dawud 203.
That's leather straps of the
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, thank you. That's pretty good. VFA 1222 says, guess baby goat yoga started Mecca. Yeah. Baby goat yoga. 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 Yeah. Neil 1777 says, David Wood, is it okay to have little kids doing yoga because it is halal yoga?
No, he says it's okay to have kids doing yoga because it's halal yoga. Yeah. I don't know. It's just creepy when you got a bunch of guys around there, and then you got super creepy dudes like the Muslim Cowboy living there, and they're like, "Hey, let's get all these little 6 and 7-year-old girls over here." And these are guys who believe that you're kind of determining whether a girl can handle a grown man penetrating them and so on, because that's when you're allowed to have sex with them. They're like, hey, let's get all these girls down here for a little, we'll call it a yoga competition, but really we just want to stare at them and see who's ready. I don't know. Now it's just got real creepy.
Hey, this is funny. Going back to the comment made by philosopher of Dixie earlier, I didn't even pay attention. So Abraham is debatable, right? David, Saul, or Solomon. Why would you include them in this whole assertion here? it is pretty much historically agreed that David most likely did exist, and so did Solomon as well. So even the historians of the region agree that these people most likely did exist. We just don't know enough about their lives aside from the scripture. So who makes the assertion that they didn't exist?
What we cannot conclude is that the philosopher from Dixie exists. And I've asked for proof, and I've gotten none.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. And this just proves that Islam is true. Ari Osman says Dua Lipa should air jerk and twerk on yoga mat at the Kaaba. Ali Da'wa's grape feeder boy would run in his Hajj robe for the Mu'ta. These are Ari's super chats here are some of the deepest, most intricate here that should be turned into a book. And the book should be called I Choose the Cow. Yeah. And it should have a leather strap around it. It's a perfect idea. Take this. Master Debater said, what is the best step forward for Islamic world? Stop being dumb and leave Islam.
Abandoning Muhammad. It's the only step forward.
Yeah, leave Islam.
It's the perfect move.
Aftershave says Aisha plus 6 minus 9. Probing and funneling alopecia, lack of puberty, reporting through Q to future gens. Saint Aisha canonized the girl. What in the do you agree with this, David?
Not sure. Probing and funneling alopecia, lack of puberty, reporting through Quran to future generations. Saint Aisha canonized the girl. That is pretty much Muslim Cowboys thinking on this issue.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks like pretty much. It's pretty impressive. Chloe Al said, "It is Ricky O, doctor. You are a man of refined taste."
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's some praise.
Powerful. I sent you that link, by the way, AP.
I will check it out in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Prepare for the most powerful fight scene you've ever seen. Makes everything else look like a pathetic joke.
I will probably watch it with tears in my eyes. Chloe L says David Wood seen Ricky O, Batman Begins, and Dark Knight. Christian. AP not seen any of them. Atheist. Draw your own conclusions. How dare you?
Fair point.
How dare you?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen The Killer Sofa?
No.
See?
Did you ever see Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever see
Touché.
What was it called? Killer Pants or something like that? What was that?
No.
Oh man, these movies. Killer Sofa was personally one of my favorites. I would totally recommend watching it. Yeah. Daniel Pikachu in Mandalorian sees Baby Yoda humps. Definitely not MBS.
Look at him lift that ship with his mind. You see, he's ready. He's mature.
Thanks for ruining the vibe, David. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anytime. Anytime.
How dare you? How dare you? N says David is fun and livens up the vibe.
Correct.
There's going to be a war between these two. Yeah.
Livens up the vibe.
Livens up the vibe.
Livens up the vibe.
Livens up the vib.
I know you're foreign, but don't pronounce it like a German.
Livens up the vib.
Yeah, it's livens. Livens and the livens, yeah.
Livens up the vib, yeah.
There must livens. Ich mag livens.
You're right. This was my favorite movie, actually. Frankenhooker. That was my favorite movie, actually, of all those movies. That's right. My wife just reminded me of that. That's absolutely one of the most brilliant movies I've seen in my entire life.
I somehow remember like an advertisement for that a long time ago.
It was so stupid, and I loved it. Oh boy, Knox Cowboy definitely watches Cuties.
Yeah, it's the greatest movie of all time. Yeehaw!
Sofas are atheist, tomatoes are Christian. That's actually the other way around. Sorry to disappoint you here, Chloe.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Chloe L said, "Livens up the vib." We're proud of that. Yeah, it livens up the vib, man.
We're proud of that.
All right, David. Anything else you want to add before we ride into the night? Yeah. How about that? Well, that was an interesting show right there. You know, we destroyed and humiliated and exposed the Muslim cowboy once again for everyone to see.
And he's getting ready for the next rodeo. What else can I say to defend diddling little kids?
Well, how about that? Look at that. They talk about me once again for about 3 hours, almost 4. Now, what else can I do? Well, I'll put out another video where I'll talk about how good it is to little kids and goats.
And on a more serious note, Muslim Cowboy, if you actually want to do something that answers what we're talking about, show somehow that 14 centuries of Muslim scholars have misunderstood Surah 65, verse 4, and that it doesn't allow you to have sex with a prepubescent girl. And also show us that Aisha had reached puberty when Muhammad had sex with her, and show us why the hadiths are wrong about her. So we're looking forward to all that. But you seem to know more than your God and your prophet and 14 centuries of Muslim scholars in your own mind, and therefore give us a little more insights, because we're not entirely convinced that that you are the single lone authority in your religion.
Yep. I would say, Muslim Cowboy, if you're going to continue down that path, if the trajectory continues as it is,
if the trajectory continues,
then I would say the best thing you could do, that I would personally favor, is that you do all of us a favor and remove yourself from YouTube. Because it's not good.
Yeah. If you don't want to do it, for us, at least do it for all the little girls that you're trying to get people to bang.
Yes, because we don't want that.
Nope.
We don't want. We ain't doing that here. Yeah. We don't like your kind here. You ain't welcome here, boy. We ain't gonna tolerate that stuff. We ain't gonna tolerate that nonsense. You ain't gonna be diddling little kids around here, boy. Not letting you do that, boy. Be careful. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for tuning in once again. It's time for us to go. See you all tomorrow on David Wood's channel here.
Mm-hmm.
My friend David Wood's channel here. On Saturday, it will be on my channel. On Sunday, it will be on David Wood's channel once again. And so on. Till we're done with Islam. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Love y'all. Be happy. Stay well. And always remember,
you're finished already. Look at me. Look at me. You know you're done.
Or, in other words, stay away from Islam.